freeway.
Here we go!
And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
And a great Tuesday afternoon to you. Territorial Cup week continues. The countdown to number 97 this Saturday in Tempe, Arizona versus Arizona State. We shared some great memories yesterday of this fabulous rivalry. We want to share some more today. You did not get a chance to get in on the program. Now is your opportunity. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to call. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number with your memories of the Territorial Cup game. We talked about 1982 and the first game in the streak, which is just a 9-game stretch that is embedded in this fan base's minds, especially people I would imagine of my generation. You know, kids, I would have been 15 years old had I been in Tucson and living here at that particular time. We talked about, obviously, 2014, the last time that these two played in a game that meant something, a championship game, a Pac-12 South championship game. How about yesterday, Jedd Fisch anointing his Arizona Wildcats, the Pac-12 South champions for this season? What do you think about that? It doesn't exist anymore. The divisions are gone. They were gone last year. Had they still been here, the Wildcats would be Pac-12 South Division champions and would have at least 3 more games to play. This week, the championship game and a bowl game. And who knows? Potentially, I mean, stranger things have happened. You remember that? I don't know if, J-Dub, if you remember 2014, there was actually, towards the end of that season, talk about the Wildcats potentially even getting into the college football playoff.
Yeah.
As nutty as that was. I mean, there was still talk of that.
Yep.
You know, if there was a Pac-12 South Division this year, we might be having that same conversation right now. That the Wildcats could potentially, who knows, win 2 more games, beat a number 2 or 3 Washington team, and somehow find a way to sneak in to the college football playoff. Now, that won't happen this year, regardless of what plays out down the stretch. I don't know that if you win this next game and you get into the Pac-12 championship game and you beat a number 5 Washington, if you're going to, sneak into that. But I definitely think if that happens, you're in a New Year's 6 bowl game. And the Wildcats have not been in a New Year's 6 bowl game since that 2014 season when they went to the Fiesta Bowl and unfortunately lost to Boise State. But that's where we are with this football program. It's a great place to be considering where we were 2 years ago when the Wildcats were 1-11. 1-10 going into this final game against Arizona State. Jedd Fisch's first year, a game up there that really they didn't have a whole lot of chance to win, but, stood tall and played decently enough that it wasn't a complete disaster up there in 2021. We talked about my first game, 2008. Money Mike Thomas taking the punt back 52 yards for the touchdown to win the game. We talked about Nick Foles. Do you realize we talked about Alex Zendejas being the hero in 2009 and then the GOAT in 2010? And then in 2011, Bryson Burney coming in for an injured Nick Foles to lead the Wildcats to the win in Tempe. The last time Arizona has won a game at Sun Devil Stadium, now known as Mountain America Stadium. Do you realize that had Alex Zendejas made those kicks and the Wildcats had won those games, Nick Foles would have started 3 winning Territorial Cup games.
Yeah, he was good.
But he won 2.
Bad news for those dreamers out there. No 2-loss team, DK, has ever made the college football playoff.
No.
It's only undefeated teams and 1-loss teams in the history of that event have ever participated.
Yeah. We can start talking, though, about bowl possibilities. I haven't looked at recent bowl projections, but, maybe we'll take a look at that today and see right now where the Wildcats are situated. Where do you want to see this team go for a bowl game? You want to see them go to the Gronk Bowl in Los Angeles? You want to see them go to the Las Vegas Bowl in Las Vegas? Do you want to see them go to the Alamo Bowl in San Antonio? Do you want to see them go to the Holiday Bowl? We talked to the Holiday Bowl representative, Larry Baber, on Saturday at the game. They were here. The Sun Bowl was here. The Sun Bowl is right down the street. Where do you want to see this team play? I think we've moved on from. I think we've won enough games now that we've moved on going back to Shreveport. Nothing against Shreveport, but I had to spend New Year's Eve in Shreveport, and I hope I never have to do that again.
My guess, DK, is that those places you just named all have one thing in common. They're all warm. And I think that's the answer. I think if you're asking the general fan base of the Arizona Wildcats what bowl they want to go play at, someplace warm. A prestigious bowl that is in a warm weather city.
Yeah. That would be a good start. Someplace warm.
My favorite.
I mean, heck, it can get cold here.
It can.
For the Arizona Bowl on January or December 30th.
My favorite, I mentioned this briefly yesterday, but I think my favorite game has to be 95 and the whole story of how that unfolded. Because I played basketball with Richard Dice in the rec quite a bit. And I didn't know the dude, but I got a glimpse of his personality. And if listeners don't remember that story, he had torn his ACL and opted not to have surgery. And before that game, the swelling was okay enough that he could go. And they were down 14 in the fourth quarter. And Dan White, he had 3 receptions in that fourth quarter. And they came back, ended up winning the game 31-28. His final reception was on the sideline, and he didn't ever got back in the game after that, DK. And clearly he was injured and wasn't going to be able to go again. And on his way off the field, he made a gesture to the Tempe fans that were up there who had been giving him some grief. And if you talk about the spirit of bearing down, number one, that guy, I used to see him wearing a expletive ASU shirt around campus quite a lot. So clearly that guy, he was bought in on the Wildcats side of the rivalry. Choosing not to have season-ending ACL surgery, staying active enough to be able to not only play, but contribute to a win in that game in Tempe, getting grief from the fans the whole way, and then giving them the one-finger salute on the way off the field in a win in their stadium. I think that's my favorite moment of the rivalry. There's so many great ones, but that took place when I was in college at the U of A in 95.
Oh, okay, yeah. Those are always more memorable games when you're in school, at that school. I'm sure there were a lot, like you said, there were games when you were growing up here as a child, but then when you became a student at the University of Arizona and what those games meant then to you.
Like I said, I was in probably elementary school when Chuck Cecil returned the ball 106 yards for the interception return for the touchdown. I think that was the NCAA record at the time in that game, and a huge play, huge moment. And I just remember the water cooler buzz around the city. It's all anybody talked about for a long time. So I got the importance of that moment and that play kind of vicariously, if you will, like from adults who are around. I was around. I didn't really understand how big of a moment that was. Obviously, as I got older, seeing him on the cover of Sports Illustrated, the most feared guy in the NFL and all that, I got to know a little bit more about Chuck Cecil as I got older. But that's obviously a play everybody points to. To me, it's so situational. It's so based. I'm sure Sweet D is someone that everybody points to who was around during that era. It just depends. Tunnicliffe, obviously. It just depends on who it is that you watched during your formative years.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Again, you can hear J-Dub. You cannot see him currently. We're still working out our issues here in terms of our video stream, but we are streaming video, and we are streaming it on a number of platforms. You can watch this program on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch at Wildcats Radio 1290. You can also watch it on Twitter at Wildcats 1290. Wes Clements, the great Arizona Baseball Hall of Famer, was watching the show on Twitter yesterday and decided to call in and share his thoughts on the Territorial Cup and what it means to him and just playing ASU. He was a baseball player and shared his thoughts on what it meant on the baseball side. If you missed that interview, you can go on over to our website at wildcatsradio1290.com and go down into our on-demand section. You can listen to that interview from yesterday. It really wasn't an interview. It was a phone call. He called us, and we talked to him. Just a great conversation with Wes Clements. You know it's a big deal. You know it's rivalry week when guys just start calling the show.
Yep.
They just start calling us.
Yeah.
To talk about what this means to them. So if you're out there and you're a Wildcat, definitely want to hear from you this week. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. Like Lamont Hunley said yesterday, get your memories. Get your memories. That would be his message to this team this year. Go out there Saturday and get your memories. We've got our memories, but go get your memories. And you'll hear coming up, we had a chance to talk to Traden Stukes and Tanner McLaughlin. Tanner obviously will play in his second Territorial Cup game. For Mr. Stukes, it's going to be his fourth. He was there that day. He was there that night. He was there that night at Arizona Stadium that we all want to forget. 70-7. I was there that night. Pandemic. Not too many people were there that night. If there's one thing to be thankful for this week is that you didn't have to go to that game. You didn't have to sit in that stadium and watch that game that night. You probably watched it on TV. You could have turned it off. You probably did turn it off at one point or another.
You know what I had to do? I had to play every highlight. And the person running the station at the time came in right before postgame.
Yeah.
And I said to them, nobody wants to hear these highlights. And they said to me, we're going to play all of the highlights. And so we ended up playing every single touchdown from that 70-point barrage by the Sun Devils.
Well,
and that was my memory of that day. I got a lot of grief for playing them. And I was like, hey, guys, it's not my choice.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Not my choice.
Well, sometimes you got to understand how bad it is to get to where we are now.
I get the thing about, like, if you lose a championship game, you want the players to stay out there and watch the other team celebrate so you can get that feeling. But from a fan's perspective of reliving something that just happened an hour before, yeah.
That was bad. Real bad. All right. Let me see if I can get a picture on Cricket here. Yeah, we still got Cricket. That's a good thing.
You don't have to do that.
Although I have to actually, my button panel is gone at the moment because we did an update, but that hasn't clicked in yet. So I have to actually go and actually hit the numbers on my screen here to make the. But we still don't have J-Dub. He is still the Invisible Man.
He's the man
Did you
behind
ever
the
see
curtain.
that movie, The Invisible Man?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, we all saw the Wizard of Oz. Don't pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
That's J-Dub.
Exactly. That's J-Dub. All right, we started talking about Thanksgiving yesterday, Cricket, and we found out that you're going to be baking pies this weekend for your family affair. But I wanted to find out today what your actual favorite Thanksgiving food is. What's the one thing that you have to have at Thanksgiving dinner?
Green bean casserole.
Green bean casserole.
It's so good.
Do you realize I have never had green bean casserole
Oh, you're missing
until
out.
I got married?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my wife makes a pretty good green bean casserole, but I'd never had that. How does your friend, have you made it, or just who in your family makes the green bean casserole?
I've made it before, but I'll eat it by anyone, made by anyone. I don't discriminate at all. It's good. Even bad green bean casserole is so good.
Oh, okay.
It's so good. What about you?
Are you a green bean casserole person there, J-Dub?
Yeah, I've made it many times.
Oh, you've made it. J-Dub knows how to
I'm
cook.
a bit of a chef.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a bit of a chef.
The thing is, it's very simple. It's like cream of mushroom soup and green beans, and what you do is you put those crunchy onions on top of it. It's
Right.
kind of a casserole kind of thing, obviously, in the oven. But the fun thing about that is that's what you read on the tin. So if you want to make that yourself, buy any of those ingredients, and there's a
It's right
recipe
there.
on the can or
It's
on the
easy.
box how to do it.
Sure.
The fun part for me is tinkering. Like that's my favorite thing to do. I'm not a recipe guy. So the baseline of like what's required to make something, you have to have eggs to make an omelet.
Yeah.
But it doesn't tell you what to put in there to make it good. It just depends on what you like. And so there's a lot of freedom there. And so I've made green bean casserole a couple of different ways. It's fun, to incorporate like a little tiny bit of turkey or chicken type of thing involved, and
What?
like some good.
Wow.
Mind blown.
Wow.
Yeah, I
I've
mean, well,
never
again,
seen-
there's really no correct
Yeah, you can
way
do what you
to
want,
do that.
right?
It just depends.
Yeah.
We've done the whole gambit the last few years, but we're doing we're not doing the fry stuff, but we're doing brining and the whole thing.
Now, you said brining?
Yeah, if you
I don't know what
brine
that
the
is.
turkey like beforehand, then it helps to make it tender and juicy.
Isn't it kind of like marinating, but different? You do it to make it tender instead of giving it flavor or
Yeah.
something? Like,
Well, you know how some chicken sandwiches are better than others because they're not dry, they're
Yeah.
like juicy? That's
Right.
because they're brined. They brine it overnight, and that's like a salt mixture with some seasoning and such, and you brine always and I'm not a chemist, so I can't tell you the actual chemistry involved, but it locks a lot of the juices inside so that when you do cook it, it doesn't turn out as dry as you might. So that's just a technique.
I love cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
Cranberry sauce is my favorite thing for Thanksgiving.
Do you guys do both ways, like the can and the fresh stuff? Or
Well, I love the can.
Yeah.
I'll buy it.
you?
I'll buy it all year round. Yeah, I like I like the sliced cranberry.
You like the gelatin.
Not like the berry kind. I don't like that
Right.
kind at all.
the jiggly kind.
Yeah, I like the kind like that you can slice it into a nice circle, and it's like that. That's my favorite kind. Yeah.
Paige, when she moved out here from Arkansas, her grandma gave her one thing to bring with her, and it was her grandpa's cranberry dish that they'd had as a part of their family for the longest time, and it was very emotional for her, and we still have it and busted out. It's like one of those family traditions where it's bringing a part of that Thanksgiving table that she lived with for 30 plus years of her life back with her, so that she has a piece of that with her, and it was very touching. So I'm not sure exactly what kind of cranberries we're going to put on that dish, but we'll definitely have it out on the table. We might actually end up doing Thanksgiving Friday. We'll see, because we're not going to be done here until I think 7 p.m. after the Michigan State game.
Yeah, we're doing it late. We're doing it late as well on Thursday. Okay, getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives. We'll find out more about Thanksgiving as we go along this week, as it pertains to all of us here. But right now, here's cricket.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Reported collisions, Oracle and Wetmore. New crash at Oracle in Orange Grove. Park Avenue north, the Speedway clearing. Also Sunrise Drive west of Swan at Sunrise and via Palomita with westbound slowing. Ahaway near 12th Avenue reported building fire. You might see fire crews on scene. We've got an air quality alert in effect, a high pollution advisory near Marana, which could aggravate possible asthma. We've got clear skies and 46 is our low, 72 and sunny tomorrow, breezy and 73 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Boost Infinite.
Boost Infinite's new wireless technology switches between networks, giving you the best service at a lower price. Switch today. Call 855-55-BOOST, visit boostinfinite.com, or go to amazon.com and search for Boost iPhone 15.
There is a difference when it comes to sports radio. If you want Wildcats play-by-play and the NFL and the Super Bowl, you turn to 1290.
Come on, it's brilliant!
This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Saturdays are made for football, and when the game is on, we're finally off. Off duty, offline, out of office. A correct Coors Light is our do not disturb message to the world. On game day, we don't think about the 9 to 5, but worry about the 4th and 1. So this Saturday, grab a Coors Light, press play on some pigskin, and pause on everything else. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment, made to chill. 2021 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
BetMGM is giving you a chance to be a part of the big game. Place at least $100 on Pro Football Bets Weekly to enter for a chance to win the ultimate trip to Vegas and 2 tickets to attend the big game. Must go to BetMGM.com/touchdown in Vegas for full terms and conditions, including a free alternate method of entry. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Arizona only. New and existing customer offer. All promotions subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. First online real money wager only. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Motorists, your text can wait. Please don't text and drive. This message paid for by your local leaders at Adobe King. Trust over 27 years in business. For all your Adobe sealing and restoration services, call the pros today at 520-615-2110. That's 520-615-2110. Or check them out online at AdobeKingAZ.com. That's Adobe King, professionals who care.
Wildcats fans from coast to coast can bring a little bit of Tucson to themselves wherever they happen to be by streaming 1290 on our website at wildcatsradio1290.com. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Today on Hey Culligan Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener, here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yup, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
I thought learning a language would be too much work, but Babbel makes learning fun. J'aime Babbel.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes, and soon you turn and realize, hey, I'm starting to speak another language. How'd that happen?
Babbel isn't robots talking. You learn words and phrases from real native speakers. I was ready for real-life conversations in just a few weeks. So easy.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SCORE for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SCORE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SCORE.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 85% water, right?
85% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients. Don't pay for water, pay for clean.
Save $10 when you spend $30 on Tide and Downy. Water content based on the leading Bargain liquid detergent. Must buy at least one participating Tide or Dreft detergent item, plus at least one participating Downy and or Bounce scent booster, liquid fabric softener, or dryer sheets. Prepaid card by mail. Visit pglaundryrebate.com for terms and conditions.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Tucson area attorneys. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
My message would be for them is to, get your memories. It's that simple. Get your memories because, I have mine. My memories is I was part of the street, as far as making that thing happen. I have my memories, of making a impact tackle on that field, to stopping a running back from going in the end zone or deflecting a pass that could have caused a difference. I have my memories of watching Max and Dayhouse kick that ball up the center and win the game for us. I have my memories of Brian Holland catching the ball running down the field. Those memories will stay with you for the rest of your life. So I tell you to go out there and just gather your memories, do something positive on that field, and make sure you got those memories implanted inside of you, where at the end of the game, the scoreboard is in your favor. Because if it's not, it's gonna be in your belly for a long time. So make sure the memories are in your positive way and create your own, because we old folks, we got ours.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hit Joe memories. Lamont Hundley, U of A football class of 1984, speaking on the program yesterday. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program today. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. What is your memory of the Territorial Cup game that lasts with you? It's interesting. We spoke yesterday, and obviously we always speak this week of the 100-plus yard interception return by Chuck Cecil, who's now a coach on this staff. Probably the iconic play in the history of this program, the most iconic play in the history of this program. I mentioned the horse collar tackle sack by Scooby Wright near the end of the 2014 win over ASU. They clinched the Pac-12 South Division title. That was a field rush to end all field rushes that day. Let me tell you, there have been some field rushes this year. Sorry, kids. Nothing compares to that field rush right there. That was 2014.
And when did they build the wall?
I thought they had the wall then. I'm not remembering. I thought the wall was there. I think I remember people dropping over it. But the remodel they did the remodel. That was only I think that was right before the pandemic. So I want to say either 19 or going into the pandemic was when they did the remodel of that side with the standing room sections and all of that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. I'd love to, and I probably should just go do it. I mean, I can kind of do that. I have free reign of the stadium when I'm there. But I've never really gone and just stood down there to just kind of see what it's like to kind of stand in that area. I mean, so many stadiums now are creating those social areas where you can stand, especially baseball parks now. I mean, nobody wants to go to a baseball stadium and sit anymore. You want to go stand out in the social area. Heck, there's one I remember we went to Mile High Stadium Coors Field a few years ago, and they've got one that's at the top, very top of the stadium, kind of a standing area with what do they call them, fire pits and all of that kind of thing. That's kind of the thing now, a social standing area to go to your sporting events. I remember last year when we went home, a couple years ago actually, we went back to Cleveland, and they've created one of those at the arena. It's at the very top where you can just kind of go and stand and gather, and there's a bar there to watch the basketball games. So I'd love to kind of see what the perspective is, although it's kind of low. I mean, football to me should be viewed from higher up. It'd have been nice if they'd maybe found a higher location to put the standing room area, because it's still kind of, I would imagine, tough to see what do they call it? The perception, the depth perception is not as great the lower you are.
I think all college athletics are great if you're on the field of view. So if you're right down there on the basketball court, you really get an understanding of how fast and big. And football field, clearly the impacts that are in front of you. But if you want to take in the whole game, you kind of got to take a little step back and be able to see it from a little bit further away.
Absolutely. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. We want to hear your memories of the Territorial Cup game all week long here. We're doing shows today and Wednesday. We will do a basketball, obviously, pregame show on Thursday. That will be from 10 in the morning to 1 p.m., leading up to the Wildcats game against Michigan State at the Acrisure. Is it called the Acrisure Classic? Is that what we're calling it? The Acrisure Classic?
Yes.
So that's over in Palm Springs. I saw the team. They were leaving today as I was getting onto campus for the football press conferences today. The team was getting on the bus. I would imagine, I don't know if they were busing to Palm Springs. They could do that. It's not that far. It's not that long on a bus, but I would imagine
You're telling
it's
me
Arizona, so they probably jumped on a plane and flew the 40 minutes it probably takes to get to Palm Springs.
Every summer from like the age of 2 until 16 or 18, I made that drive every single summer because my
From
grandmother.
Tucson to Palm Springs?
Well, my dad was from Glendale, California originally.
Okay.
And his mom, who was a dentist, one of the first, her dental license was 101 in California. And when she retired, she moved out to Palm Springs way, way early, like right at the cusp of when that was kind of turning into a retirement community. So we used to go to Disneyland and go and see her on the way through. And so we would go out there and spend a week, something like that, out in Southern California, throughout the like late 70s, early 80s. So I've taken the drive from Tucson to Palm Springs many a time.
Did you ever go in college when it became a spring break location?
Not as much, no. We did Cabo and stuff like that when I was in college.
Cabo San Lucas,
Yeah, my roommate at the time, he was from there. He had the best background. His dad was in Hawaii, and his mom was in Cabo. So he had some good
nice.
good home visits.
Nice. We went to Mazatlan.
Yeah.
One spring break on the train. They take the train down.
I don't know. I feel like I worked on University Boulevard for such a long time. Every day was spring break.
Every day was spring break.
I had no desire to like go out and experience that kind of vibe because it was just always there. Nice weather and it was always like that.
Well, guess who's back, J-Dub?
Who's that?
DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton is back tonight. Big DA is in the State 48.
Back home.
Back home. The Portland Trailblazers taking on the Phoenix Suns tonight up at the Footprint Center. It'll be DeAndre Ayton's first game back here for the Portland Trailblazers since he was traded to the Blazers this summer. So that is our question of the day today. You know, we try to give you a question of the day. This week, we actually have a question of the week, which we're just going to leave up there if you want to comment on it or whatever not. And we just told you what that was in terms of the Territorial Cup game. What is your favorite memory? That's going to be our question of the week this week as we dive into Territorial Cup week. So head on over to our Twitter page. You can interact right there and chime in. You can answer that question on our Facebook page over there as well. So lots of different places you can chime in. But our question of the day today, in terms of DeAndre Ayton's return, is, frankly, are you excited to see DeAndre return to State 48? So far early on, 70% saying, no, I've moved on.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I want DeAndre Ayton to have a place where he can do what he wants to do. I think clearly he was the 4th or 5th option there in Phoenix during his stretch of time. The interesting thing to me, I don't admittedly watch a ton of Blazers games. That's not a great team this year. DK, he is the 6th highest field goal attempts guy on that team.
Yeah, sixth in scoring.
From a Phoenix situation where he wasn't getting a lot of touches. He's only averaging 10.3 field goal attempts a game through 13 games for the Blazers. It's his lowest of his career. Now he's, rebounding about the same rate he has been. He's 7th in the NBA right now and rebounding at 11 a game, shooting 56%, 57% from the field like he always does. I don't know. I don't know if he's just passing looks up or if they're just not incorporating him into the offense. They got a lot of young guards. Anthony Simmons, I think he's injured now. Shaden Sharp, and then their number 1 pick, Scoot Henderson from last year. So a lot of the young guys are going to need to get shots up to get experience and get their feet wet in the NBA. DeAndre Ayton is just pretty automatic, when he's within 8-10 feet. That wasn't a part of the Suns' offense for a simple reason. All of their best players were mid-range guys, right? And that just increased with Kevin Durant coming over. So the place that DeAndre Ayton did his most work was the place where Booker and Chris Paul and Kevin Durant all do their best stuff, is right there from the 8 to 15 foot range. So I don't know. I mean, I hope for his sake that he's getting, the touches that he wanted. But it seems to me, at least just from a first glance, that clearly that offense runs through guys like Jeremy Grant, who really came on in the last few years. He's their leading scorer and field goal guy at 18 a game. DeAndre Ayton is just basically playing the exact same role. So, I mean, his whole thing about needing to get out of there or whatever was going on behind the scenes, it doesn't seem like the grass is greener in this case. It seems like it's pretty much the same old, same old.
It's been a struggle for the Portland Trailblazers. They come in at just 3-10. You mentioned Scoot Henderson. He's been out for several weeks due to injury. I think they're about to send him down to the G League to get some work in. Number 3 pick from this year's draft, but dealing with a bone bruise in his right ankle, an ankle that he sprained early in the year in a victory at Detroit.
Yeah.
Speaking of Detroit, Monty Williams starting Detroit is not off to the greatest of goes.
Well, they started okay. I think they were 2-1, but they have not won a game since then.
12 straight losses.
Yeah.
For the Pistons.
And they got some talent on that team. It's young talent, but they definitely have a talented roster. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say. I think clearly some of the fans I understand over there with the Pistons are not happy with his rotations. They don't necessarily like the way that he's utilizing some of those young players. 12-game losing streak is the kind of thing you see for teams that are trying to get Wembanyama.
Yeah.
Right? And there is no Wembanyama in this year's draft.
Right, no.
So,
and they've already got, like you said, they've already got a ton of young talent.
They do.
It's like, do they need one more guy? I mean, that's interesting, though. I mean, again, you're asking, Monty Williams, a guy that was coaching a lot of veterans here in Phoenix, to go over there and deal with a lot of young players, and I don't, that may eventually be the right fit, but right now it's not looking like it is.
They got one guy who I think I was going to be one of the greatest players to come out of this last draft, and that's the Twins. Remember the 2 twins who got drafted?
Yes.
One of them is Asur Thompson, and I saw a cut the other day of his defensive ability, DK. He may be the freakiest young defender, like kind of a Matisse Thybulle type of guy, but even crazier. He just is a very long-armed, very good at mirroring the offensive player. Cade Cunningham is their 6'9", 6'10" point guard, rookie of the year from a few years back. He's a really skilled young player as well. I like their lineup. They've got also Isaiah Stewart from USC. Just a ton of talent over there. Jaden Ivey, obviously, the guy got drafted just above Mathurin. So it's, I mean, I'm not watching a lot of Blazers games, not watching a lot of Pistons games, because why would I, unless they're playing the Suns or the Pacers or one of the teams I'm following more frequently. But yeah, 12 losses in a row for Monty Williams. I don't know what exactly is going on over there, but whatever it is, it's not working.
No. And I hope you can watch the Suns game tonight, because I don't think that I can. This is an in-season tournament game, in fact.
Get the antenna and hold it outside your window.
Right, exactly. Getting you home every 20 minutes on the Fives. We're going to talk to Dave Hickey in the next hour. We'll get his thoughts on Arizona athletics. But first, cricket has got your traffic and weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With reported collisions, we've got Ruthroff west of La Cholla, Oracle and Wetmore, Orange Grove and Oracle, Sunrise Drive west of Swan, Sunrise and Via Palomita with some westbound slowing near the U of A Park Avenue north of Speedway. Some slowdowns westbound Grant, westbound Speedway at I-10. Clear skies 46, our low 72 and sunny tomorrow, breezy 73 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Boost Infinite.
Boost Infinite's new wireless technology switches between networks, giving you the best service at a lower price. Switch today. Call 855-55-BOOST, visit boostinfinite.com, or go to amazon.com and search for Boost iPhone 15.
Saturdays are made for football, and when the game is on, we're finally off. Off duty, offline, out of office. A cracked Coors Light is our do not disturb message to the world. On game day, we don't think about the 9 to 5, but worry about the 4th and 1. So this Saturday, grab a Coors Light, press play on some pigskin, and pause on everything else. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment, made to chill. 2021 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Cantina nachos, strawberry watermelon margaritas, a few zombie kills, and all your favorite sports teams live? When your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's, where you can eat, drink, play, and watch all the sports you want. They've got massive HD TVs, hundreds of the hottest new games, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
1290 brings you the passion of football like no one else.
So it's 3rd and 19 now from the LA 31. Snap to Stafford. 7-step deep drop. Climbs the pocket. Throws it deep ball far side. Cup wide open. Caught at the 30. Running right to the 20. Back to the left 10. 5. Touchdown. How did Cooper Kupp
This season, 1290 will bring you almost 100 NFL and college football games. It's not flexing. It's just the truth. Scoreboard 1290. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Discover Tamal season. Casino del Sol presents the 18th Tucson Tamal and Heritage Festival, Saturday, December 2nd from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Alva Amphitheater, and it's free and open to the public. Experience more than 100 delicious Tamal vendors from all regions, food vendors, and local live entertainment, plus artisans, farmers markets, and the famous Best Tamal contest. The 18th Tucson Tamal and Heritage Festival, December 2nd, only at Casino del Sol, the soul of Tucson. Enterprise of the Pasquayaqui Tribe.
This November, I'm grateful for the most thrilling casino action around.
Not to mention next level fun and unbeatable winning.
You got it.
Find it all at Desert Diamond Casinos.
And this month is all about the excitement.
You bet it is.
At Tucson, there are giveaways galore. Come out every Thursday for Road to Riches, where there are over $100,000 in prizes up for grabs. Plus, there's 10K Saturday, Diamond Sunday Bingo, and more.
I'm there.
At Sahuarita, there are more great events, plus incredible entertainment all month at the Diamond Center Sahuarita.
Count me in.
Then make your picks each week to score your share of over $1 million. It's $1 Million Pro Football Frenzy at Tucson, Sahuarita, and Y.
That's true, Tucson.
It's always a good time at Desert Diamond Casinos.
True.
An enterprise of the Thon Autumn Nation.
See Rewards Center for details.
Why does 1290 run this town?
It's simple. 1290 is the only radio station that brings you the Jed Fish and Tommy Lloyd radio shows. Scoreboard 1290.
This is the home of the Wildcats.
This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SCORE for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SCORE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SCORE.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Nice lob inside. Eight seals back and forth action tonight from Toronto. 8 post move. Siakam. Left shot clock. 9 to shoot. Up to Hurdle. In he comes. Rejected by 8.
Second spectrum data on NBA.com. You can look at the potential of assists.
8 dribble handoff. Scoot back to 8. Spin move to the Graham. New dribbles from 8 into the lane. Goes right at Hurdle. Puts it high up the window. 8 makes a play. For Barnes. Grant measures a 3. Rimming. Free ball. Kept alive by Sharp. Tipped out of there by Grant by 8. Blazers looking to reset. Brogdon will take it outside. 9 to shoot. 33 seconds remaining. Blazers a lead of 4. Brogdon goes to work on Trent. They bring 2 at him. He knocks into the lane. Goes to the body. And laid it up and in.
DeAndre Ayton averaging 12 points a game, 11 rebounds, shooting 57% from the floor, and makes his return tonight to State 48 for the first time as a Portland Trailblazer. He wears number 2 for the Blazers. That'll be a 7 o'clock tip-off tonight at the Footprint Center. Your Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook line has the Suns as a 13.5-point favorite. Phoenix 7-6, coming off a pair of wins over the weekend on the road at Utah. Geez, how about the shot that Kevin Durant blocking Lauri Markkanen there at the end of the game on Sunday?
Double overtime.
Yeah.
They had to go review it.
Yeah.
And it was, one of those 50-50 type of things. I definitely agree with the call that they made there at the end. But in real time, it was hard to tell. It looked like he might have gotten Lauri. They were down 3 at the time, and Lauri went up for a 3-point shot, and KD challenged it. And they originally, I think, called a foul on the play, but then they went and reviewed it and determined that it was not a foul. There was some weird terminology that they used for that review, but Lauri himself had a game, as he always does. That guy is killing it as well. I don't think we talk about Lauri Markkanen enough on these shows. He is a pleasure to watch. And when he came out of here, I remember saying something like, I could imagine Lauri Markkanen being one of the best offensive players to ever come out of the U of A, because the NBA is so spread out. And with that skill set at 6'11", 7 feet tall, it's a Dirk thing. It's like when you have the ability to shoot over the top of guys, any kind of mismatch, his touch is just so pure. He's, not anywhere close to the same category as Kevin Durant, but he's equally, he has success in similar actions to Kevin Durant because they're both so long and are both such great shooters. And Lauri, after that summer in Finland, he really brings back a lot of ferocity into attacking the rim. And so ever since 2 summers ago, he had a great summer with the Finnish national team last year. First player ever with 200 made threes and 100 dunks in a season. It seems like he tries to dunk on everybody every time he gets in the lane. It's great.
Lauri Markkanen, great Arizona Wildcat. Love watching him play an all-star last season for the first time in his career. All right, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Again, our question of the day today, are you happy to see DeAndre Ayton returning to State 48, Arizona Wildcat, Phoenix Sun, now Portland Trailblazer? Head on over to one of our social media accounts. We got the poll up at Twitter at Wildcats1290. You can also watch our stream there, or you can head on over to Facebook at Wildcats Radio 1290 and leave us a comment on our page there. We've got the stream up going there as well this afternoon, both video and audio. You can listen to our audio stream via Alexa. Just say, Alexa, put on Wildcats Radio 1290. And if you weren't with us 2 weeks ago, you can whisper to Alexa, and she'll do that for you. You can also find us on the iHeartRadio app. Now, coming up this week, again, show today, show tomorrow, basketball pregame Thursday, no show Friday because of the holiday. Thursday and Friday are holidays, and so we will not have a show on Friday. We'll be back with you Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. We are going to be live from Macayos. So Macayos Mexican restaurant in Scottsdale. It's actually just over the Tempe Town Lake on Scottsdale Road. So technically it's in Scottsdale, but it's only like a mile from the stadium at ASU. It's actually Macayos ASU Tempe, they call it. So head on over there. That's where we're going to be. Macayos Mexican food. It's at 650 North Scottsdale Road. We'll be there starting at 9 a.m., and you can come on by, pregame with us. And like I said, it's only a mile from the stadium. You might be able to even park your car and walk across the bridge right to Mountain American Stadium.
The term pre-gaming means something different if you're at a bar. So that that you guys will be doing the pregame show, and fans will be pre-gaming. Yeah.
Well, we can say we're all pre-gaming, but we just won't be imbibing like everybody else is going to be.
Yeah.
But stop on by. We're actually going to be there both before the game. We'll also be there after the game for our post-game show because of the early start. We can do it both ways. So we'll be there pregame from 9 to noon, and then we'll be back after the game. Probably, I believe it's like around, 6 to 8 or something of that nature, 5 to 7. somewhere in that area, we'll be there doing the post-game show, hopefully rejoicing in a Wildcat win, maybe even rejoicing in the fact that Arizona is going to the Pac-12 championship game. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. That will be determined on Friday up in Eugene, Oregon, when the Ducks take on the Oregon State Beavers. All right, so we will not, we won't have any Thursday football, obviously because of the basketball game here on Wildcats Radio 1290. We will, however, be carrying the Friday game, the first Black Friday NFL football game ever between the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. It'll be a 1 o'clock start. We will have that game right here on Wildcats Radio 1290 starting for you at 12:30. And because we've got basketball pregame on Thursday, normally we do our Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge on Thursday. We will do that on Wednesday. So join us tomorrow in the 3 o'clock hour. We'll do our Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge tomorrow. We want to send out congratulations, or really not congratulations, but at least appreciation to Noah Ruby. He was our contestant last week, but Noah incorrectly picked the game that I selected, which was the game involving my Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. He picked the Steelers to beat the Browns because the Browns had a rookie quarterback making just his second NFL start in Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who we saw a lot of when he was at UCLA. But for the second straight week, the Browns won the game on a last-second field goal. So this week, the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge, if you win this week, you're going to get a $50 gift card instead of that $25 gift card. And, J-Dub, now that is 2 times this season that a player has picked the opposite team that was starting a rookie quarterback and lost.
Good logic. I got a question for you, David Kelly. I know you're estranged from your alma mater.
Yeah.
However, how does it register when your crosstown rival school's quarterback is now doing good things for your professional team you've been following since you were a little kid?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
How does that work? Exactly.
I'm warming up to DTR. I'm warming up to him. But see, here's but I've been estranged now for 2 years, 2 seasons from my alma mater, and so I kind of, Dorian. I'm warming up to him. He's a better option than the guy that abuses women.
Oh yes,
so
completely agree there.
Hey, quarterback that abuses women, quarterback that went to your arch rival. I think I'll take the quarterback that went to my arch rival over the quarterback that abuses women.
Yeah, it's not like you have any DTR UCLA jerseys at home or anything like that. But
I do not.
Maybe you get a Browns jersey.
We'll see. I mean, he's young. Who knows if he'll even be there long term? But hey, he won for us last week.
The NFL doesn't work like that.
Exactly,
I don't think how many players ever stay with one place.
Patrick Mahomes. That's about it.
Yeah, there you go. Like certain organizations, Steelers seem to keep their guys around for some reason. Well, it just depends. But
didn't keep their offensive coordinator around the whole season. He was fired today. What's his name? Matt Canada.
Yep.
Matt Canada fired today by the Pittsburgh Steelers as their offensive coordinator after the Steelers continue to struggle to put up points this season, and they're still 6-4. So I guess if they could score, they might be leading the AFC North right now.
Show me, right? Isn't that what they say?
Yeah.
Show me league. So the turnover in the NFL, that was the joke. It just feels like every 6 months there's a new wave of firings, and it's also that recycling where I'm sure there's another organization out there who's willing to pick him up as an offensive coordinator, because that's how this works, right?
That's how that works, indeed. All right, we want to hear from you on your memories of the Territorial Cup game. What year kind of stands out to you? What's your favorite game? That's what we want to hear this week. We want to hear your stories. As Lamont Hundley said, get your memories to this year's team. He would tell this team to get your memories. Well, what are your memories of this fine game? We've just kind of been rattling them off. We'll get into some, and in the next hour, I want to get into great plays in this rivalry that maybe don't stand out because that team didn't win the game. And I'm going to kind of point to one that kind of always comes back to me. It's like, man, this would have been maybe one of the more iconic plays in this series, but the Wildcats didn't win the game. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 with J-Dub and Cricket. I'm David Kelly. DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Reported collision, Snow Crash River Road and Hacienda del Sol, Cortero at I-10. Ruthroff and La Cholla, Oracle and Wetmore, and also Oracle and Orange Grove is clearing. Got some slowdowns for Ajo and Mission, westbound and southbound, and also some normal slowdowns for westbound Grant, westbound Speedway, both approaching I-10. Weather-wise, we'll see clear skies overnight with 46 is our low, 72 and sunny. Tomorrow, breezy, 73 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. Welcome to the ultimate playground for online social casino enthusiasts. Get ready to live the Chumba life and play over 100 online casino-style games for free at ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. It looks like our long, hot summer is finally over, and cooler temperatures are great news for us and mostly good news for your car. But for some of you, the cooler overnight temperatures will be just enough to trigger your tire's low-pressure warning light. In most cases, you can solve the problem simply by adding the correct amount of air to your tires, and then get back to enjoying the cooler temperatures. As always, you can stop by any of our 14-area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. And if you need help with that low-pressure warning light, we fix those too. This month, mention this ad, and with the purchase of any new tire pressure sensor, we'll install it in your wheel and rebalance your tire absolutely free. You'll find even more specials to get you road trip ready at jackfurriers.com. So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just drive up. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
1290 has earned the right to be named after the Arizona Wildcats. That's why we grind harder than anyone else in Tucson to cover the Cats. 1290 is the home of the Wildcats. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Can't get enough of your Arizona Wildcats? Make sure to stop by Taco Bell in the spring for a meet and greet opportunity with some of your Arizona men's basketball players at Taco Bell. Pick up your favorite Taco Bell combo and live Moss with an autograph or photo from Kylan Boswell and Keyshawn Johnson. Taco Bell, locally owned and operated and proud partner of Arizona Athletics. Bear down and live Moss.
How wrestling really works and how you get the ratings. Eric Bischoff and Conrad Thompson explain on 83 Weeks.
Wrestling right now is incredibly profitable. Do you feel like we're in a boom period with wrestling?
It's undeniable. The numbers dictate the facts. And the facts are the numbers are bigger now than they've ever been. There's more revenue being generated. There's more distribution. The product is being accepted on a mainstream level in ways heretofore we've not seen.
83 Weeks on YouTube or wherever you listen.
It's no contest, Tucson. You're listening to the home of the Arizona Wildcats. That's why 1290 runs this town. This is the one and only home of your Arizona Wildcats.
And you know this, man!
We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
I thought learning a language would be too much work, but Babbel makes learning fun. J'aime Babbel.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes, and soon you turn and realize, hey, I'm starting to speak another language. How'd that happen?
Babbel isn't robots talking. You learn words and phrases from real native speakers. I was ready for real-life conversations in just a few weeks. So easy.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SCORE for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SCORE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SCORE.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. The Wildcats Radio 1290 studios are brought to you by Casino del Sol, Soul Sports, Bet Easy, Win Big, Bet Local. We are your home of Arizona athletics. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Territorial Cup week in Arizona. Counting down to Saturday in Tempe, the Wildcats, the Sun Devils. I like to call it the battle for the territory. I never liked that phrase, the duel in the desert. I know everybody uses that, but I never liked it, so I don't use that in my lexicon of talking about this game. To me, it's always been the battle for the territory. Makes it sound old and 1800-ish when this whole thing began in 1899.
All those cowboy hats.
Exactly. All 300 of those cowboy hats. What did I say? What was the Tempe Normal Normal Territory School? I think was what it was.
Yeah,
came down and won that first meeting 11-2, and then proceeded to lose 20 of the next 21, including the next 9, 8 by shutout to the Arizona Wildcats. We want to hear your memories this week of this great game. We've gotten back as far as 82. We had a gentleman that called in and claimed he's a U of A fan, but also knew a little bit about the ASU side of it, and talked about the Frank Kush years. Coach Kush was there 22 seasons at Arizona State, and only lost 6 times in this rivalry. The winningest coach by far.
I'm a big fan and believer of perspective, David Kelly. And I think the perspective people should have when you listen to those who were involved in the early 80s and the streak that Arizona had, and when they talk about how much that meant to them, you have to understand the other side of that coin and what happened before that, right? Which was Kush and those guys were on a long winning streak against Arizona, and they flipped it around. So when you hear those old heads take so much pride in that winning streak that they had against the Sun Devils in the early 80s, it came on the heels of a long losing streak.
Larry Smith got that going, and then he departed to be the coach at the school I was at the time in Los Angeles.
Rodney Peete.
Yeah, Rodney Peete, 3 Super Bowls, 3 Rose Bowls in a row, right off the bat. Those were fun times. Great time to be a college student in Los Angeles during those years. Then Dick Tomey came in, kept that streak going. Some great battles in the 90s. JW mentioned 1995. I think the other game that stands out to a lot of people is 1998.
Yeah.
You know, the Trunk Candidate game.
If
here
only
at the
we had
stadium.
some people we could ask about that game.
Right. We got plenty of people that can talk about that game. I mean, I can remember. I think I remember watching that game that night. I'm trying to remember where I would have been in Cleveland.
Yeah.
In 1998. I moved back there in 1996. So I would have been in Cleveland. But I remember watching that game that night. I'm thinking, my gosh, Trunk Candidate is on fire.
We're talking the other day about Kenny Lofton. I'd said he was probably the fastest baseline to baseline guy. Like Chris McAllister was really fast.
Yeah.
But Trunk Candidate might be the fastest, definitely the fastest running back I ever saw, because he would just, you generally see a running back get into the secondary and he gets caught by some super quick DB or whatever, but Trunk would run away from those guys.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Let's chat with John. You're on Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the sports tip.
Hey, how's it going today?
How's it going, John?
Great. Hey, I got a memory from like late 60s.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Let's get past the 80s into the 70s and the 60s.
It's just a family memory. My old man was from Chicago.
Okay.
And he relocated to Arizona, and his godson went to the U of A or ASU, and when they played in Tucson, after the game the next morning, my dad's godson would bring over like 3 defensive linemen for breakfast. And all I remember is all the dozens of eggs that he would have to cook to feed these guys. It was just crazy.
Wow. And this was in the 1960s.
Late 60s, yep.
Wow. Do you remember who any of those players were, or do you remember any names?
Just Kwiatkowski. That was my dad's son-in-law. Godson. Sorry.
Okay. And he was a player, or he just went there?
No, he was a player.
Oh, he was a player. So he played at ASU.
Yep.
And so these were ASU players that would come over your house.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And I was so young. I didn't know what the hell what the Territorial Cup was or anything like that. All I knew was the big football players were coming over. They did it like 2 years, and then one of the guys, I remember, he actually transferred to like Penn State. So I think he was probably a pretty good lineman, defensive lineman.
I bet, yeah. If you get out of here and go to Penn State, even at that time, that's pretty much saying something. Did they ever talk about the games at all? They ever share any stories? Any stories you remember that they might have been telling at the breakfast table?
I was too young.
Okay.
I was like 7 and 8 years old, right about there.
Just starting to come into your idea of what sports. I always say that 8 years old is usually when boys start to begin to understand what sports is all about.
Yeah. If I would have known what it was all about, I probably would have saved some of the baseball cards and stuff way back when.
Oh, there you go.
Probably be really rich.
Great memories, though, John. I appreciate you sharing one.
All right. I'm looking forward to doing the Miller Lite Challenge again. I think I can qualify again. When are you doing it?
Yeah, what's the statute of limitations on that, TK?
Yeah, we're because you were the first one, John, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can try tomorrow. We'll be listening around 3:40 tomorrow.
Sounds good. I'll be calling in.
John was our first contestant, and he sent a picture with a big smile with his prize bucket.
If I'm not mistaken, you're a Green Bay fan or a Bears fan? One of the two. I think that was our Bears. That's right. That was our first game, and the Bears lost. Yep. All right. Hey, John, thanks for calling.
3 p.m. hour tomorrow.
Keep it up, guys.
All right.
DK, J-Dub.
All right. Later, John. Bear down.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. That opens up a line for you. We're going to be talking to Dave Hickey later this hour. We'll get his thoughts on the upcoming Territorial Cup game. He's been around this thing for a while now. I'm sure he's got a good sense of what it's all about. Dave is on his way. We were told he was on his way to Palm Springs. So hopefully he will be able to chat with us. I don't know if like I said, I saw the buses leaving. I don't know if they were busing there or whether they were flying there. It would make sense that they probably just bust because it's close enough to do that. I don't know why you would want to take a flight to Palm Springs. It's probably only a 40-minute flight, but, I mean, stranger things have happened, and it's athletics, so you never know. But if we're trying to save money, we might want to take a bus.
It's like
Palm
a
Springs.
6-hour drive, something like that.
Exactly. It's not that far. Save some money. Save some money. Let them hang out on the bus for 6 hours. So I can tell you a lot of great stories about traveling with sports teams on buses. Spent a lot of years in the minor leagues. It's a good time. Very good time.
Minor league baseball is all about the bus life, right?
It is all about the bus life. Absolutely.
What's the longest bus ride?
Oh, God. 16 hours,
Yeah.
I think, we went from North Carolina to Memphis. That was when Memphis, and if you've heard the show before, I've talked about how I was the broadcaster in Memphis when they were AAA. But before they were AAA, they were AA. And when I was in AA, they were AA. So we took the bus from North Carolina to Memphis, and that was like 16 hours.
I drove from Little Rock to here in a day. That was, I think, the longest I've ever driven. But we used
in one day you did it?
Well, yeah, we kind of had to.
Oh, okay.
It's a long story. But the longest safe trip I ever took is to Bay Area from here. It's about 16 hours, 16 hours, something like that.
Oh, yeah. I've known some guys that, and some of the guys drove up last year when the Wildcats were in Sacramento, made the drive from here to Sacramento for the NCAA tournament.
And the best part of that drive is when you get like 5 miles outside of Gilroy, and then you start smelling garlic, and then you get 5 miles on the other side of Gilroy, and it stops smelling like garlic. It's like that Yuma thing where it's always like 10 degrees hotter 5 miles outside of Yuma, and then there's this bubble of heat. So it's 5 miles on one side and 5 miles on the other. The heat goes up and back down.
I like the White Sands near Yuma. That's always a great thing to see when you're on your way to San Diego.
Yeah.
For some weekend fun. Glenn Howland's going to join us as well. He'll join us in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll do Wildcat Breakdown. We'll have our game balls for this week. We'll hand those out as well. But we want to hear from you. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. I want to, I've been saying this for days, going back to a week and a half ago. But I had a chance to catch up with Brooks Reed at the Sabino High School football game a few weeks ago. And the Sabino SaberCats are playing in the state championship game. They'll be playing the state championship game this Saturday evening up at Mountain Point High School in Phoenix. And so they will play Paradise Honors for the honors of being the champions of Conference 3A. And they were playing in the second round earlier this month against, who were they playing? Round Valley. And Brooks Reed was at the game. Great Sabino SaberCat, Arizona Wildcat. I mean, back when we actually knew how to rush the quarterback before this year. We've gotten better at it this year. We're still not to the point that we were in 2009, 10, and 11 when Brooks Reed and his partner, his sack brother, Ricky Elmore, were doing it for this program. But we're getting better at it. Here's my conversation that I had with Brooks Reed about coming back home to Tucson and Sabino High School.
Faces and it's like family down here, and I always try to come back. I'm up in Phoenix now, so I have no excuse to come down. It was great to see the seniors play their last game on the field tonight and get a dub.
What do you remember about these Friday nights out here?
Man, it was a blast. We were a good team, and it's cool to see some emotion from these kids. Because I feel like you lose that a little bit as you get college and NFL. It just becomes more a business. So it's such a cool raw emotion out here, and the families are all out here, and so it's a really cool football environment, and if you're a football guy like me, you really appreciate it.
How did this prepare you for the next level?
My coaches at the time, and just my kind of, in combination with my work ethic, really prepared me for what was to come. Not 100%, I still had things to learn, but it was definitely beneficial for me to come to Sabino, and it's a great school, and you know, and I had a blast staying home, yet going to the U of A. So, you know, and lucked out again, and landed on, you know, a team that had a great recruiting class, and you know, so it was just, I lucked out a lot. You know.
Thoughts on seeing U of A back playing well?
Oh, it's wonderful. You know, and I was in town last week for that against UCLA. So, you know, and I knew that, you know, they just had to get some wins for people to recognize, because we've been playing good against ranked opponents all year, and you know, some should be W's. So, you know, I think U of A is finally getting the recognition they deserve, and I think, you know, they'll keep on improving, and you know, I know those coaches over there, and they're not, you know, they're preparing just as hard for everyone the same. So they got a challenge this weekend, you know, against Colorado. So it'll be fun to see for sure.
What are you doing in retirement?
Relaxing. Just being a dad. Just, you know, in that phase of life that you know, just trying to figure out what I want to do next, type of thing. You know, and just retired, have a couple of young kids, and love helping out with them and seeing them grow, and you know, so. You know, maybe someday I'll coach them. We'll see. We'll see if I can remember everything I learned when I was younger.
Brooks Reed, U of A football class of 2010, played 10 seasons in the National Football League. Had, I believe, over 23 sacks in his career. I mean, that's we don't get a lot of guys from this part of the state that can go and have that long an NFL career, but Brooks Reed definitely is one of them. And obviously we've got Bijan Robinson in the National Football League. Bijan was back home this weekend. He was at the South Point game on Friday night. I didn't get a chance to see him. He was at the game on Saturday, but I did not see him when during the pregame when I was down on the field, but understood he was down there during the game on Saturday at the U of A. So great to see Bijan coming back and getting home during the Atlanta Falcons bye week as he is embarking on his first season in the National Football League. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Memories of Brooks Reed playing in the Territorial Cup game. If you have a few of those, we'd love to hear from you. Getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. Here's Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Reported collisions New Crash River Road and Hacienda del Sol, Cortero at I-10. Ruthrop and La Cholla, Oracle and Wetmore, and also Oracle and Orange Grove is clearing. Got some slowdowns for Ajo and Mission, westbound and southbound, and also some normal slowdowns for westbound Grant and westbound Speedway, both approaching I-10. Weather-wise, we'll see clear skies overnight with 46 is our low, 72 and sunny. Tomorrow, breezy, 73 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Boost Infinite.
Boost Infinite's new wireless technology switches between networks, giving you the best service at a lower price. Switch today. Call 855-55-BOOST, visit boostinfinite.com, or go to amazon.com and search for Boost iPhone 15.
What makes 1290 different than any other radio station in Tucson? 1290 is the home of the Arizona Wildcats, the NFL, and the Super Bowl. Winner! This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Saturdays are made for football, and when the game is on, we're finally off. Off duty, offline, out of office. A cracked Coors Light is our do not disturb message to the world. On game day, we don't think about the 9 to 5, but worry about the 4th and 1. So this Saturday, grab a Coors Light, press play on some pigskin, and pause on everything else. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment, made to chill. 2021 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Are you ready? Ready to discover your soul, your wild side, your passion, your joy, and excitement. From world-class entertainment to award-winning dining to a luxurious resort. Discover all this and more. Discover with Soul at Casino del Sol, the soul of Tucson. The official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Enterprise of the Pasquayaki Tribe.
For all the latest news from Arizona Stadium, McHale Center, and High Corbin Field, make sure to like us on Facebook at Wildcats 1290. This is the exclusive home of Arizona Athletics. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Doug. Hey, listener. Welcome to Limu's Karaoke Lounge, where Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, and the music never stops. Hit it!
There's an emu with a full-time job. His partner's Doug, but Limu's the heartthrob. Grubs and worms, that's what Limu eats. Gotta fuel up to save you money and hit the streets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I thought learning a language would be too much work, but Babbel makes learning fun. J'aime Babel.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes, and soon you turn and realize, hey, I'm starting to speak another language. How'd that happen?
Babbel isn't robots talking. You learn words and phrases from real native speakers. I was ready for real-life conversations in just a few weeks. So easy.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Tucson area attorneys. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
It's no contest, Tucson. You're listening to the home of the Arizona Wildcats. That's why 1290 runs this town. This is the one and only home of your Arizona Wildcats.
And you know this, man!
We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale is on with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest 12th gen Intel Core processors like thin and light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We were talking earlier about the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge. We'll do that tomorrow this week on Wednesday. So listen for the cue to call at around 3:40 in the afternoon, and you'll have a chance. I'll pick the game. Can you pick the winner? It's the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge. $50 gift card is going to be up for grabs because Noah Ruby did not get the right team last week. He picked the Pittsburgh Steelers to beat the Cleveland Browns, and that did not happen. I'll see what good game we can come up with for tomorrow. There are 3 on Thanksgiving Day. There is 1 on Friday. There's a host of games, obviously, on Sunday and another on Monday. So we'll find a good game to select and have that challenge coming up for you tomorrow. Memories of the Territorial Cup. That's kind of our theme this week. We want to hear yours. We finally got back into the 1960s with a memory, not necessarily of a game per se, but John called up and talked about just hanging out with some of the Sun Devils at his house. Thanks to his, I believe it was his stepbrother brought some kids over that he played with on the team for the Sun Devils, so he had that memory. But we want to hear your memories of games and whatnot as well. 520-848-1290. Right now, let's hear from the U of A coordinators. Offensive coordinator Brennan Carroll, defensive coordinator Johnny Nansen, who met the media today to discuss the Territorial Cup game and the current state of the Arizona Wildcats.
Coming up. When is that? I think it's on Friday. Cameras good?
Jansen, wow, your defense has really played great this year. What are you most thankful about your defense?
Players, staff, unbelievable job. Our kids are bought in and they're really, really, believe in what we're telling them, and the way they prepare, our staff prepare our players every week is really, the way we're playing is the reason why.
What are you most thankful about your offense?
I mean, Johnny nailed it. These kids buying into what we were preaching, and just the belief that they have now is just a byproduct of all their hard work, and they've proven it. They've showed it. We got to go do it again this week, though.
Question for both of you guys. What do you guys take away when you discuss the Territorial Cup rivalry with guys like Chuck Cecil and former players who have been a part of it?
It's a great question, John. You got it.
It's just another game to them, I guess. That was a question I had this morning, to be honest with you, and our staff. How are we going to prepare our guys, and what is the message for our guys? And, and we all agree, this is just one of those games that, we're blessed to play in, but at the same time, we gotta prepare just like another team.
Yeah, I mean the tradition of this rivalry is powerful. You can't get too high or too low for any game. You've got to do a fantastic job of respecting the game and respecting the opponent, and making sure that you don't overlook something for the emotions of the game. So.
I think it's important, that like B. Sanders and those guys in the building, because they're part of it. Coach and I just kind of, this is our second year playing in this game, so I know what it's like to play in the Apple Cup as a player, and I think all the ex-players are the ones that really kind of push the message to the players how important this game is.
Johnny, as a defensive coordinator, how would you go about stopping the brotherly shove, the tush push that the Eagles do?
There's a lot of offense that we got to be prepared for this week. We got, offensive linemen lining up outside, receivers in the middle with the centers. I mean, there's so many things to prepare for. And so, it's just the way we practice this week and how we trying to get, the scheme to the players and how we're going to try to defend it.
Michael and Brian. One question for each. First, Johnny, several games in a row you guys have had less than 10 missed tackles, according to PFF, your guys' favorite website. But that's obviously a positive development, and I'm pretty sure you don't tackle live very much during this season. So what do you attribute that to?
Swarm the football. One guy missed and the next guy's there. That's what we preach to our team, and I think Coach showed it Sunday. When we swarm to the ball, a lot of the good things happen. And you see our defenses. That's what we, when we talk about, what we're looking for, and every week is that's one of them is running to the football and tackle. That's just part of our plan.
And for Brandon, on that screen touchdown to Michael Wiley, Raymond Polito was flying downfield, didn't have anybody to block, I guess, on that play. But what did it say to you about his health at this point that he was able to sprint down the field like that?
Ray had a fantastic week of preparation, and the last 2 weeks have been really good for him. Just getting a feel for what he's doing on the field, on the sidelines, and just handling all of his business. And then, to get him to fly around. The kid plays with a great passion for this game. He's a really smart kid, and he's coming along great. And we're just really excited he's here, and the guys love playing with him. He's been a great teammate. So it's great to have him out there. And then, he'll find somebody one of these days.
For either of you, there were 7 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties in the game last year. Last 2 seasons, it's been 10-plus penalties in the Territorial Cup. Jed mentioned yesterday about because there's games beyond this, that has to, you got to have a different emotional approach. How do you do that while there's still a rivalry game?
Yeah, it just, you got to make a huge emphasis of it. I know the defense has emphasized it already. I know we have. We can't let anything extra. There's more to play for this season. This isn't the last game of the year. We got to take that approach, and we got to be smart about it. There will be emotions. There will be tempers. There will be all the things that come with a rivalry game. We just have to be really smart about it, and let the kids understand that we can't let the game like that, become a thing. We got to make sure that really diligent about doing the right things, and still play really fast and really hard and do all the tough stuff. So, yeah, huge emphasis.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Two for Johnny. Johnny, just Jacob Manu. We had a chance to kind of see something different from him, dropping into coverage and making an interception in that game. What have you liked about the way he's developed that aspect of his game?
I think Manu, his overall football IQ has been really unbelievable this year. You know what I mean? That's something that we practice, that route down in the red zone, and he saw it, and he was in place to make the play and made a great play, get us out of there, and but I'm just proud of the way he studies the game and his discipline and everything that it comes with to being a great football player.
Trenton Bourguet is a local kid from down here in Marana, quarterback for ASU. What did you see from him last year in the game? What are you anticipating you'll need to do differently with him this
Smart. I mean, he's really smart. I mean, he knows where he's going with the football. He understands the offense. So we got to do a great job, containing them in the pocket and make sure we, try to get to him and move him off the spot like we did this week.
Johnny, Cameron caught you for that last consequential fourth down stop in the fourth quarter against Utah, celebrating a little longer with your guys. I mean, you were so strong situationally on Saturday. Did they kind of carry that same emotion that you do about those big moments? And how did you kind of see that reflected in your players on Saturday?
Same guy. I don't change. The way I prepare the guys, the way I celebrate with my guys, all the hard work that goes in, putting together a game plan, practice, to get an opportunity to make a play like that, man, you got to embrace it. And I think our guys are starting to buy in. That's who we are.
Justin and then Michael.
We're seeing a lot more from Kamwilla at linebacker. What have you seen out of him so far this year, just his development?
It was good. He was ready to play. Aaron did a nice job preparing him throughout the week. You're seeing a lot of young guys playing for us, and Kam was one of them. It's only going to help them. Like I said before, our program is about developing players and believing in our guys. And I think that's what you're starting to see. The young guys are playing because we believe in them, and Kamo was one of them.
Brennan, Jed talked about the Team Olympics after the spring and how impressive T-Mac was. You just talk about just his talents and how gifted he is off the field.
Yeah, he's a fantastic athlete. There's probably very few sports he won't be great at. Fantastic high school volleyball player. You can try to keep him out of the wreck as much as we can, but when he gets out there and shoots some hoops, he does some cool things with the ball in his hand, just like he does on the football field. There's very few limits to what he can do. I know he's excited. He's already starting to talk about he wants to just keep developing next year and just gain more strength and speed and see how far he can take it.
Michael and then David. For Brennan, other T-Mac, Tanner McLaughlin is going to be here in a little bit. Do you see an NFL guy in your view?
Sheesh. Yeah. I really like Tanner. He's got a fantastic ceiling. There's more in there, and he's going to keep working to develop in these last couple of games here. A guy like that who can stretch the field, make fantastic catches, away from his body, and can create mismatches in the secondary. He's good against safeties, good against linebackers, can go up against corners, and one of the most impressive things is you can throw him the ball in the flat, and he can gain more yards than what the tackler is going to give him. So, he's stretching those plays and getting yards after contact, which creates the value for the next level. I absolutely see him up there. We'll figure out where it goes later, but really excited to see him continue his football career.
What about as a blocker?
Yeah, that'll be his thing that he's going to emphasize the most in this offseason, as he's getting ready to go to the next level. You can get away with a lot of stuff, lot of those fancy pass catchers in the NFL aren't fantastic blockers, and they'll probably tell you that. Yeah, he'll have the ability to go forth, and he'll just need to continue that, and it'll be how far he develops, it'll be how far he takes it. So it's really up to him, how far he wants to push this thing, but we're really excited for him.
Two for Brennan. Brennan, your wide receiver blocking has just been at an elite level in both the run game and the pass game. What are the core principles that you want those guys to do on the edge?
Well, Kevin Cummings has done such a fantastic job developing these guys. We've got young guys playing all over the place. Kevin Green and Malachi Riley, as you've seen those guys, and it's really just an attitude. And Coach Cummings brings that attitude every day to practice, and it's just along the lines of everything we do about defense, about run blocking, about and pass protection. Everything that we do, we want to be physical. We want to be able to dominate the opponent. Kevin's just been a great beacon for those receivers to follow. And they've followed his lead, and they've all done great things. So we'll just continue to do that, and excited to get to talk about Coach Kevin Cummings.
Obviously, there was a lot of talk after the game about the last pass play by Jaden. But how do you explain, I guess, to people what it means for a guy that's worked so hard in this program like Jaden to have an opportunity like that to come back from an injury and be able to make a play? Yeah.
So Jaden's had to go through some a tough time these past couple of weeks, but he's been such a great teammate. He wants to be out there playing. He had to fight through the injury, and that took a while, and it's been a difficult time for him. But he's been such a great leader, such a great teammate. He's locked in on every play on the sidelines. He's helping Noah and the receivers and everyone when they come off the field. It's just a testament to the kid that he's been able to be such a great Wildcat through this time period. I'm glad he got to get out there and play some ball. So, it's a great quarterback.
And lastly, David. Brennan, just kind of expanding off that, what kind of exchanges have you witnessed between Jaden and Noah, and how has he gone about helping to add like that extra layer of coaching?
Jed's got to be the head coach, and Jimmy's up in the box, and so I'll get a chance to get to know every once in a while. But Jaden's listening to every play and understanding, and he'll take a look what the coverage is. What did you see? Was it a pressure? Where was the pressure? Should we have changed the protection call on that thing? He'll go through the litany of everything that you need to talk about. Coming off the field, even in the run game. Okay, should we have checked that play? Should we have thrown the run pass option on that one? So he's in at every play call. He's just been fantastic.
All right, those are your coordinators, Johnny Nansen, Brennan Carroll today, getting set for the Territorial Cup contest on Saturday, Arizona and Arizona State for the 97th time all time. All right, we will talk to the athletic director. We hope so. He's on his way to Palm Springs. Hopefully he's in a good cell area, and we can get to him. Dave Hickey scheduled next. This is DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With slowdowns on the westbound side of I-10 approaching Miracle Mile and then into the construction zone. More slowdowns Ahaway and Mission and on southbound La Cholla at Ahaway. Reported collisions Ruth Ruff east of I-10 with westbound backups Ahaway and Palo Verde. 6th Avenue near Ahaway, Mission and Irvington, and also River Road and Hacienda del Sol. Weather-wise, clear skies, 46, overnight 72, sunny tomorrow, breezy, and 71 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Holiday Deals mean amazing savings for the holiday season. Right now, save 60% on custom holiday cards and invitations, as well as custom photo gifts like mugs and calendars. Offer ends 12/2. Visit staples.com/print for more details. Have yourself a merry little holiday deal at Staples.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. It looks like our long, hot summer is finally over, and cooler temperatures are great news for us, and mostly good news for your car. But for some of you, the cooler overnight temperatures will be just enough to trigger your tire's low-pressure warning light. In most cases, you can solve the problem simply by adding the correct amount of air to your tires, and then get back to enjoying the cooler temperatures. As always, you can stop by any of our 14-area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. And if you need help with that low-pressure warning light, we fix those too. This month, mention this ad, and with the purchase of any new tire pressure sensor, we'll install it in your wheel and rebalance your tire absolutely free. You'll find even more specials to get you road trip ready at jackfurriers.com. So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just drive up. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Now, I don't want to make a big deal about this, but I'm going to anyway.
The Chevy Silverado is now the #1 selling full-size pickup in Arizona.
So, come to O'Reilly Chevrolet and find out why so many fellow Arizonans are in love with this truck. See them all at O'Reilly.com, call 747-8000, or test drive one today on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Find new roads during the final days of truck season at O'Reilly Chevrolet. More than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
See dealer for details.
Here at Alaskan AC, we believe every kid in town should have a toy under the tree this Christmas.
And we know you believe that too.
So does the United States Marine Corps. Let's bring that all together and make a big difference this year.
When you donate a new, unwrapped toy to Toys for Tots, Alaskan AC will match it with another toy.
One toy becomes two.
Or make a donation and we'll match your donation so $1 becomes $2.
You can drop off your toy at our offices or give it to one of our techs working in your home.
Last year, we donated thousands of toys with your help.
Plus over $10,000 to Toys for Tots.
A small donation can make a big difference this Christmas.
Make your donations before December 15th and we'll do the rest.
We'll match every toy you donate.
And match every dollar you donate.
To make Christmas wonderful for every kid in town.
Find out more at AlaskanAC.com.
Wildcats Radio 1290 has been through all the ups that Wildcats fans experience.
Here comes the posse, and they sack him. Navy shirts everywhere.
They are swarming tonight.
And the downs.
Ball is loose. Bulldogs pick it up. The 4th Arizona turnover of the night.
1290 is always there by your side to bring you all the raw emotion of the moments that matter to Wildcats fans. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
This November, I'm grateful for the most thrilling casino action around.
Not to mention next level fun and unbeatable winning.
You got it.
Find it all at Desert Diamond Casinos.
And this month is all about the excitement.
You bet it is.
At Tucson, there are giveaways galore. Come out every Thursday for Road to Riches, where there are over $100,000 in prizes up for grabs. Plus, there's 10K Saturday, Diamond Sunday Bingo, and more.
I'm there.
At Sahuarita, there are more great events, plus incredible entertainment all month at the Diamond Center Sahuarita.
Count me in.
Then make your picks each week to score your share of over $1 million. It's $1 Million Pro Football Frenzy at Tucson, Sahuarita, and Y.
That's true, Tucson.
It's always a good time at Desert Diamond Casinos.
True.
An enterprise of the Thorn Autumn Nation.
See Rewards Center for details.
He's kind and he's funny and he's also mustachioed. He solves all your problems by the end of every episode. TV Dad. Everyone loves TV Dad. TV Dad. Unlike your real dad, he never hollers. And he tells you how Progressive can save you lots of dollars.
Listen to your TV Dad. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. And you can watch the show on any of our video streams. We are streaming YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitch at Wildcats Radio 1290. We're on Twitter at Wildcats 1290. We are also streaming audio on Alexa, our website, wildcatsradio1290.com. And you can also reach us on the iHeartRadio app. We mentioned earlier that DeAndre Ayton is coming back to Phoenix tonight. His first game as a Portland Trailblazer at his old team, the Phoenix Suns. Paul in Phoenix checks in. DeAndre Ayton, do you mean Dwight Howard's little less aggressive brother is coming to Phoenix tonight? Paul always has something good to say.
Paul's got jokes.
He's got jokes. Dwight Howard's little less aggressive brother. I'd never heard that comparison. Is that a common comparison for DeAndre Ayton?
I just think they look similar. I mean, Dwight Howard was Defensive Player of the Year a few years there, wasn't he? I mean, and I think he led the NBA in rebounding for 8 consecutive years or something dumb. I think most people know him as the guy who Shaq always picks on because he decided he also wanted to be Superman, and he also played for the Orlando Magic. So there was a lot of like weird stuff going on there between him and Shaq. But I'll tell you exactly what's going on with DeAndre Ayton. You know what it is? He's from the islands, DK. He didn't pick up a basketball until late in life. I love DeAndre Ayton's personality. I think he's kind of like a roll with the punches guy. And unfortunately for him, he got slotted a little higher than he should have been, right? I mean, the measurables are all there. He's playing in an era that doesn't really involve a lot of centers unless you're Embiid or Joker, those kind of guys. And so, unfortunately, DeAndre Ayton is a very serviceable player. He's been in a couple of different places. I mean, we'll see what happens in Portland, but clearly his time in Phoenix, he was the 4th, 5th option on offense. He got drafted ahead of Luka Doncic, David Kelly. Yeah. And that's the big one. So there are other guys out there. If DeAndre Ayton had been the 8th pick or the 5th pick in the NBA draft, nobody would have this opinion about him because he's a serviceable guy. He's shot 58% in his career. He averaged 10 or more rebounds. He's averaged a double-double his entire career. He's still young. You know, he still has room to grow. Great touch from the mid-range especially, but that's not – they stopped him from doing that. First couple of years he was up there, he shot a lot of mid-range shots, and then, you know, Monty Williams and those guys, they changed the offense. They didn't want him shooting those shots. So he kind of got relegated to a rebounder and a guy who rolled on pick and rolls. I don't know. I think I'm not here to try to be a psychiatrist and get in his head, but the big knock on him going back to high school was motivation and is he going to bring the energy every single night? And I get that. If you're a Suns fan or if you're a Trailblazers fan and you watch Ayton every single night and you just want more, I get it. I get you want a guy that big to be able to dunk on everybody all the time. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And that's not the personality of DeAndre Ayton. It never has been. He's from the islands.
Yeah.
Right? So he's kind of got that carefree, happy, smile on his face kind of thing going on all the time. And I always like his attitude. I wish nothing but the best. What is he, like 25? I mean, I know this is like
he's
his
young.
6th. Yeah, I know this is like his 7th year in the NBA, but he's still young. So he's not a fully formed player yet. I don't know that the Suns are the best landing spot. I'm sorry, the Blazers, because as I said in the first segment, there's so many quality young guards on that team. Anthony Simmons only played 1 game, and he's been out for the rest of the year. But between Scoot Henderson, Jeremy Grant, they got some players on that team. I think he's just basically gone to the same situation that he had in Phoenix.
Yeah, he's only 25 years old still.
He's averaging 2 less field goal attempts this year than he has in his career. His field goal low attempts. And that's like one of the big reasons most people thought he wanted to get out of Phoenix was to get more involved in the offense. And he's actually fewer field goal attempts this year than he's ever had in his career.
In the last game, he only took 7 shots, but they got blown out by Oklahoma City, so he might not have played a lot late. Prior to that, against the Lakers, he took 14. Against Cleveland in a loss, he took 10. And against Utah, he took his most of the season, 17. He scored 22 points, which is his season high. But he's still averaging a double-double this season so far, averaging 12 points and 11 rebounds.
My favorite thing about DeAndre Ayton has always been his ability to move his feet on the perimeter. So, like, he did that quite a bit here in college. A lot of centers that big, you get them in high pick-and-roll sets of actions, and they have a really hard time. And today's NBA is all about that high pick-and-roll action. So if you're a big and you go out and meet that dribbler and go out and hedge to try to cut off the driving lanes, if you can't move your feet, I mean, Rudy Gobert famously was 2-time Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA. He got pulled out of games in the playoffs when he was back at Utah in the 3rd and 4th quarters because they just kept involving Rudy Gobert in high pick and rolls and he could not move his feet fast enough to stay in front of the quicker guards. I've always liked him in that role. I think he's a very good defensive center in the modern era of the NBA. I just don't know. Again, I'm not here to try to evaluate what's going on in his head. I just don't know that aggressiveness has always been the knock. You really need to kind of want to go in there in the paint and really kind of kill people, right? You got to have that attitude at that level because the other guys, that's what they're doing, right? Those other guys, they take rim protection very seriously. So as a center trying to score, and he's always had a little bit more of a finesse game. That's the biggest knock I think most people have is he's just not super aggressive once he gets in the paint.
Is DeAndre Ayton who you thought he was going to be when he left the University of Arizona and went to the National Basketball Association? 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We talked earlier about bowl projections for your Arizona football team. Are you ready, J-Dub? Are you ready for a couple of bowl projections
I'm always
here
ready for projections.
on this Tuesday, November the 21st, 2023? How about, these are USA Today's bowl projections. Arizona versus the U. Rematch in the Sun Bowl down the street in El Paso on December the 29th.
When I told that story earlier about Truncannon running away from DBs, like that's the memory I have of that matchup with Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, they're known at the time, especially for having athletes at those spots, and he was much faster than they were. What was that, 28-0 they won that game, something like that?
They must be, I didn't know, they must be better than I thought they were, because I did not think that, I thought Miami was struggling this year, but if they've got Miami in a bowl game that late in the season, that must mean that they're doing fairly well this season in the ACC. We'll have to look their record up. Let's give you another bowl projection here. This is from CBS. CBS Sports projecting Arizona versus Oklahoma in the Alamo Bowl, the old Big 12, the final Big 12 versus Pac-12 Alamo Bowl. That's obviously a place we've been before during our bowl stretch there in the Rich Rod era. Lost to Oklahoma State down there.
The Hurricanes are 10th in the ACC, David Kelly. 10th. So this...
Wait, in the standings?
10th.
Wow.
So this USA projection picks the third best record currently in the pack, the best pack that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
This year's conference in the Pac-12, the final year of football, is the deepest quality level of teams that I've ever seen, right? Like 7 or 8 top 25 teams. Miami is 6-5 on the season and 10th in the ACC.
I didn't think they were having that great a year.
So that feels a little disrespectful. But you know how these bowl matchups work. It's really like they take turns picking, right? I mean, it used to be so dialed in, but then the college football playoff took some of the bowls. Like the Rose Bowl is one of the semifinals this year, so it's not affiliated with any of the conferences, that kind of thing.
Now, in terms of dates, December 28th would probably be better because there's a basketball game on December 29th. Yeah, I think it's the first Pac-12 game of the season. I think we either play Cal or Stanford on the road on the 29th. So, if you're playing the 29th, it's going to be a double dip kind of day.
At Cal.
Yeah, at Cal on the 29th.
8:30 p.m. So maybe Brian
could
do a bowl game
the
at
Sundays
10 a.m. and then fly up to the Bay Area.
The Sun Bowl is usually early. It's at, I believe it's 2 o'clock Eastern, so that would be noon. That could be doable. Well, it could be doable. Noon, done by 3:30. Get out of there on a. Well, nobody offered him a Learjet to get into Duke, so.
After this past weekend, I just kind of feel like all the schedules are going to be back to back to back to back to back to back to back. It's just the way the cards fall.
The other good thing about the 29th is that saves our Christmas break. Because right now our Christmas break is the 24th through the 28th.
It's true.
We don't have anything happening those days. So it would save our Christmas. It would save our 5 days of Christmas.
FAU on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. No, the 23rd.
2 days, Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
that's
Eve,
what I meant.
Eve. Yeah, Eve. So then we would have off the 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. We get 5 days off.
I don't remember what a day off is at this point. I don't think.
Well.
Not that I'm complaining.
We might have
stating facts.
We might have a few coming up. We'll see how that works out. All right, we want to hear from you in the next hour. Glenn Howell is going to join us, so you got a few minutes to get in on the program today, 520-848-1290. We'll dive into the Wildcats' win over the Utah Utes, as we always do. Wildcat breakdown, the 14th year, I believe, of Wildcat Breakdown that we have been doing this. First year we've done it on the radio to this extent. We did it kind of on the radio initially when we were both working for IMG College. Then we took it to television here in this market for a number of years, from 2011 all the way to last year. Now we're back here on radio again with Wildcat Breakdown. So Glenn Howe will join me. We will dissect everything from the offense to the defense to the special teams and hand out some game balls as well.
What the people of Tucson really want to know is, are you going to ask Glenn what kind of pie he's going to make Thursday?
Yes, I will. And he'll probably bring some. I'll make sure that he brings some. I think we're going to be the only ones here. It's you, me, Kelvin, AJ, and whoever else is going to be here with us that day. That'll be it. We'll be the only ones in the building. So we got to have some pie and maybe a little
Paige and I did Thanksgiving
turkey
here one time, like 6 or 7 years ago, where we just brought the whole spread in and had Thanksgiving here.
Oh, nice.
At the station. This will probably be like the 5th or 6th Thanksgiving day we've had a game. I've been
Is that
here
right?
For. Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of games on Thanksgiving, but a few.
Basketball. Yeah, there's basketball games generally.
That's true. Those darn basketball kids.
I love it.
Stealing away our holidays. All right. DK on the Sports Tip. He's J-Dub. She's Cricket. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Crash on Nogales Highway between Abrego Drive and Continental Road. Other collisions, Ruth Ruff east of I-10 westbound backups. On Ruth Ruff approaching I-10, Ajo and Palo Verde, also 6th Avenue and Ajo Way. We've got some slowdowns on the westbound side of I-10 approaching Miracle Mile and into the construction zone. Clear skies, 46, overnight 72 and sunny tomorrow, breezy 71 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Mucinex Fastmax Kickstart.
Hey kids, breakfast.
Wow, making pancakes. Seems like you're feeling much better. It was the Mucinex Fastmax Kickstart Cold and Flu, right?
Yep, good thing I took it the other morning.
New Mucinex Kickstart, all in one and done relief. Use as directed.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. The Chiefs might have the best player in the world. They might have the best head coach in the world. They might have the best defense they've had in a long, long time. They might have the best tight end ever, but that does not mean they don't have problems, because they do. Biggest of which stems from one main issue: catching the football. Has anybody ever seen a good team, a contending team, the defending world champions, put so many balls on the ground? It's like the Chiefs' toughest opponent is themselves right now, and last night the Chiefs successfully took the Chiefs down. No knock at all on the Eagles, but simply a knock on the Chiefs. This is an enormous problem, and it's more than just the drops. Consider the fact that they haven't scored a second-half point in a month. They're the lowest-scoring second-half team in the league so far this year, and they've only scored one fourth-quarter TD all year long. How in the world is this happening to Kansas City?
When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a click away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts, tools, accessories, and supplies quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store, or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'Reilly.auto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Black Friday is now a game day. The Dolphins take on the Jets in the first ever Black Friday NFL game. Stream for free only on Prime. Black Friday football. Dolphins versus Jets. Coverage begins this Friday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Only on Prime. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/watch Black Friday football for details.
This year, Staples will not be celebrating the holidays. Instead, we're celebrating the holiday deals with amazing savings for the holiday season. Save 60% on custom holiday cards, save 60% on custom invitations, and save 60% on custom photo gifts like mugs and calendars. During Staples holiday deals, it's not about the ho ho ho, it's about saving dough. Save 60% on custom custom cards, invitations, and photo gifts today at Staples. Ends 12/2. Visit staples.com/print for more details.
Black Friday is now a game day. The Dolphins take on the Jets in the first ever Black Friday NFL game. Stream for free only on Prime. Black Friday football. Dolphins versus Jets. Coverage begins this Friday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Only on Prime. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/watch Black Friday football for details.
The Wildcats play here. This is your home of Arizona Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball. This is the home of the Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
At Standard Restaurant Supply, their vision and number one goal is to improve the lives of their customers and clients by providing a better culinary experience. Standard Restaurant Supply, if it's in a restaurant and not food, they have it. Open to the public, no membership fees, and they offer bulk store pricing without the bulk store purchase. Open Monday through Saturday at 601 South Cherry Avenue or call 885-2345. Standard Restaurant Supply is a proud sponsor of the U of A Radio Sports broadcast.
Attention Tucson. Remember, if it's game day and the Wildcats are taking the floor, you can count on 1290 to bring you all the play-by-play action, the biggest pre- and post-game show in the Pac-12. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
The Wildcats Radio 1290 studios are brought to you by Casino del Sol, Soul Sports, Bet Easy, Win Big, Bet Local. Your home for Arizona football play-by-play is Wildcats Radio 1290.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids chewables provide fast relief for common stomach issues, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids chewables. Fast relief for little tummies. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Arizona and Arizona State coming up this Saturday at the stadium, actually at Sun Devil Stadium, not our stadium, but Sun Devil Stadium. The 97th chapter of the Battle for the Territory. Wildcats hold a 50-45-1 lead. We're sharing memories this week of the Territorial Cup game. And I said I was going to talk a little bit about, we talk about iconic plays in this game, or we remember iconic plays in this Territorial Cup rivalry. And generally, obviously, they have to do with games that the Wildcats won. The interception return by Chuck Cecil, the play at the goal line by James DeBow, a winning game in 1986. The field goal by Max Zendejas, a winning game in 1983. Trunk Candidate running crazy on the Sun Devils in 1998. Scooby Wright's horse collar sack on Mike Bercovici, a winning game in 2014. I think the lasting memory of last year will be Michael Wiley just rumbling for 224 yards. I believe he had, a 70-yard touchdown run in that game and another big touchdown run. I think, to me, that'll be the lasting memory of that Territorial Cup victory. Alex Zendejas, I mentioned, making the field goal in 2009. These are some of the wins that are on my lexicon of memory in the time that I've been here, the last 15. This will be my 16th Territorial Cup game coming up on Saturday. I think I've been to pretty much all of those 16. If there's a few I have not been to, I've probably been to at least of those 15. I think I've been to at least 12. I think there's maybe a few that I did not go to.
More Territorial Cup or more UCLA USC games in your life?
Ooh, that is a great call. By far more Territorial Cup games. By far. I think I've only been to I went all 4 years I was in college. And I think I maybe went 1 or 2 years after that and maybe 1 or 2 years before that. So I maybe have been to like six crosstown battles between USC and UCLA. I've been to just one, and that's interesting. That'll make for what rivalry games have you been to? I've been to one Ohio State-Michigan game. I've been to a number, like I said, probably about 6 USC-UCLA games. I've been to at least 12. I'll have to go back and count it up for sure. Territorial Cup games. I have never been, I don't think, to any other quote of the big rivalry games. Never been to Auburn, Alabama. Never been to Duke, North Carolina in anything, football or basketball. Never been to, what's another big rivalry, J-Dub? I mean, I've never been, Florida, Georgia, the world's largest cocktail party. I'd love to go to that.
What about like the big game? That's Stanford Cal, right?
Never been that. No, never been to. I've never been to any other rivalry game in the Pac-12.
You know, my dad played twice in the Rose Bowl in the state title game.
In high school?
In high school, yeah.
Wow.
He was offensive lineman for Glendale High School back in the 40s.
Nice.
Long, long time ago.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, but that's it. I'm trying to think of other, like Pittsburgh, West Virginia. I've never been to that game.
Bring your vest.
Never been to any of the Big Ten, the other Big Ten rivalry games. What's the one? Floyd of Rosedale. That's my favorite. That's my favorite name of all the Big Ten rivalries. Floyd of Rosedale.
I mean, I guess from my perspective, growing up here, ESPN hit hard in like the 90s, and all they talked about was Michigan, Ohio State. Like they this is the only thing they ever talked about was Michigan, Ohio State. And I kind of feel like it's almost been built up too much that if I ever went to that game, I would be let down. Because I just always been told, you know, Duke, North Carolina might be the biggest basketball rivalry, especially because they're only, 13 miles apart.
Yeah.
But Ohio State, Michigan, and what that entails, we talked about this yesterday. If ASU and Arizona are both good teams consistently year in, year out, then the end game, it's the last game of the season, you're going to be playing for something. There's a reason it's got a lot of energy and atmosphere. It's because the players and the fan bases don't like each other. But if there's a purpose for the championship, like there was, 7 years ago, when they're actually playing to go to the Pac-12 title game, that's why Michigan, Ohio State, that's why Duke, North Carolina are what they are.
Right.
It's because when the teams face off, 9 out of 10 times. Why is UCLA Arizona such a great basketball rivalry? Because they've both been damn good for 40 years.
Exactly. I mean, that goes back to the point of why I initially said that I thought it was the right. I always believed that it was in Arizona's best interest to leave the Pac-12 and go to the Big 12, because once you lost that rivalry with UCLA in both men's basketball and softball, to me, it was those two.
Yeah.
Once you lost that rivalry, you've basically, outside of Arizona State, you don't have any big rivalry games anymore. So now you got to go somewhere where you can create, I think, some new rivalries. And that's why that was the number one reason I thought that Arizona leaving to go to the Big 12 was the right decision.
I know it's like the crossover football basketball season. We're talking about the Territorial Cup, but in basketball, it's funny. We had that poll question recently about the secondary rival to UCLA in the conference. All three of those teams are no longer going to be in the same conference.
Yeah.
Right? Stanford, Oregon, who was the third one? Washington. So Washington, Stanford, and Oregon at times have kind of switched places with the Arizona basketball program depends on what year you might have been a student. You might think Stanford if it was late 90s. You might think Washington if it was early 2000s. And you might think Oregon for the last 10, 15 years. But none of those, I don't know how it's going to be really hard because the conference they're joining has more members, right? So it's going to be harder to keep some of those trips that have always been great, going up to Oregon, going to Eugene, and playing basketball on that incredibly distracting court that they have up there. Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't really want to get too far ahead because the conference is still going. There's still a football game left to be played in the conference and a lot of basketball to be played in the conference this year. And we're not too far away from winding down the Pac-12. I mean, it's not going to be around for much longer, 5 months, 6 months, right?
Do you know your Big Ten history?
Depends.
So Floyd of Rosedale, do you know which two schools that is?
Floyd of Rosedale, I will guess Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Close. Minnesota and Iowa.
Iowa.
How about the Old Oaken Bucket?
The Old Oaken Bucket, clearly, that is the Washington Wizards. I don't know.
I was waiting for you to say the Washington Wizards.
I don't know who I don't know who the bucket is for.
The Old Oaken Bucket. That is Purdue and Indiana.
I do know the fan bases.
There is a rivalry. There is a rival for Minnesota and Wisconsin. I don't, off the top of my head, remember what that one is.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those states are so right on top of each other, and there's a lot of intermingling there. You know, like I feel like out west, that's what one of the weirdest things and the greatest things about the conference we've been a part of for so long is the distance between Tucson and Seattle. David Kelly, I mean, that's a third of the country, right? And it's a very long distance to travel. All those Big Ten teams feel like they're right on top of each other.
Minnesota versus Wisconsin. Paul Bunyan's axe.
Paul Bunyan, yeah, I have heard that for sure.
Paul Bunyan's axe. It's great names for great. That's the other beautiful thing about rivalries. I mean, the names of these iconic games, like the Territorial Cup, like Paul Bunyan's axe, like back in the day. What was it? The Kit Carson rifle.
Right.
Arizona and New Mexico.
Yeah.
We need to get that going again.
I went to Kit Carson.
That was my first year here. I think that might have been the last year we played them, 2008. I was like, how are we losing to New Mexico? Like, I remember that was the first disappointing thing I think that happened to me when I came here. I was like, did we really just lose that game to New Mexico?
Growing up, I remember a lot of holdover. You know, that was the big rival for Arizona, along with Arizona State, right?
New Mexico?
Yeah. So I remember a lot of guys that I talked to when I was growing up, in elementary school and junior high and high school. They talked mostly about, the Lobos and that rivalry. It kind of got rekindled. They did have a home and home series in basketball. And I remember they lost a game in the pit when Steve Kerr was like a senior, I think. They lost a game. Or maybe it was the year before that. I don't remember exactly. But I do know that the fan bases between those schools, and I think it was one of those deals where when ASU and Arizona left, I think all the people were left behind because they were going on to bigger and better things. You know, when you're going to play in a conference with UCLA and USC, Stanford et al., I mean, those are some power programs and universities, right? Universities just have endless list of alumni, and the old WAC, I don't think some of those teams and fan bases weren't exactly super stoked when Arizona State left because they had some good football programs at the time. Freddie Snowden's teams were doing big things. That was like the era of I'm trying to think of some of the players that came out of the ASU basketball program at the time, but they had some good football and basketball teams and baseball, obviously dominant baseball programs during that stretch. So I do know some of those older WAC enemies and rivals did not take kindly to those two teams leaving.
Even some of the high school rivalries are kind of cool when you think about it. In different places I've lived, obviously here, there's the Battle of Prince Road between Amphi and Flowing Wells. Two schools that are right down the street from each other. We've got a partner here inside the building, our guy Port Chop over at Kim FM. He and I went to high school in the same area in Illinois. And we used to have, so there were 4 high schools back in the day. There were 2 big schools and 2 small schools. And the 2 big schools in the Twin Cities, known as Bloomington Normal, were Bloomington High School and Normal High School. And then there was my high school, which I talked about the other day, University High School, which was under the affiliation of the college. And then there was the Catholic high school, Central Catholic. And so we had what was called Inner City.
Right.
And that would be the first game of the year. And so it was a doubleheader. Bloomington would play Normal. U-High would play Central Catholic. It was the biggest football night of the year, the first game of the season. The 4 high schools would play at the college stadium. And that was just like, you talked about it all summer. Can't wait till Inner City,
Sure.
that first Friday night of the high school football season. It was awesome.
Our rivals
Absolutely awesome.
were St. Gregory's.
St. Gregory, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you, what was it, Greenfields?
Greenfields, yeah.
Greenfields. Absolutely. Catalina, what was your rival over there, Miss Catalina?
Everyone. Like the teams, and I'm not trying
Everyone.
to insult, but the teams were always really much smaller than other schools.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the attendance was probably lower. Everyone was the rival. Everyone, I don't mean to be mean to my fellow Trojans, but almost everyone beat us in every sport.
Okay. Well, yeah, it happens sometimes, right?
Yeah, I got I think a decent education there. But
There you go.
I think the teams were not, they were small.
So we're continuing our conversation about Thanksgiving. Was there a tradition that you guys had in your household growing up, that something that happened every Thanksgiving, whether it was a prayer or something you did? Like, did you have a tradition?
My grandma would bring out like all the Christmas ornaments, and start to kind of prepare.
Okay.
And my uncle would usually go get a tree that would be ready to go, like set up in the tree stand, and everything with the skirt around it. And then we would start to decorate the tree and everything kind of around that time on Thanksgiving.
Wow.
And so that was
like
kind of
that
cool.
night, like after you get done, the tree comes out and you guys are starting to put ornaments on, kind of thing? Or?
I think if I remember, it was a long time ago. It was a really long time ago. But I think that we would get over there earlier before dinner was served, and we would kind of start doing that. Like, it would give us something to do kind of while we were waiting and helping in the kitchen. And then we could also get out from underfoot of grandma, you know what I mean? And just get out of her way and go decorate the tree, kids. Get out of the kitchen.
How about you, J-Job? What was your tradition?
Well, my mom's family was pretty big. I was an only child with my mom and dad, but she had a lot of brothers and sisters, and I had a lot of cousins. And it was always just, you kids can go peel potatoes and that kind of thing. I think the standard family deal of, if you want to get involved and help and be around the family. Because to me, growing up as an only child in the foothills of Tucson, there was no kids around that I could play with growing up. It was like hanging out with my family and the cousins and those holiday experiences was my time to have that social bond. So I spend so much time with my cousins, and a part of that was just doing whatever we could to help out, setting the table and all that kind of stuff. So we were good kids.
Outstanding. All right. I'll tell you about my traditions tomorrow.
Oh, we have to wait?
You have to wait.
Oh,
you got to wait. You got to wait till tomorrow because we're out of time. We got to make sure we get folks home 20 minutes. Every 20 minutes on the 5, we got Glenn Howe coming up next. We'll break down Arizona football. Here is a cricket.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Man, it's busy on the freeway. Well, some slowdowns. Some slowing on the westbound side of I-10 approaching Miracle Mile and then into the construction zone. Reported collisions Ruthroff east of I-10. That is causing some pretty significant westbound backups on Ruthroff approaching I-10. Other wrecks on Nogales Highway between Abrego Drive and Continental Road. Oro Valley, Oracle, north of 1st Avenue at Oracle and La Reserve Drive. Ajo and Mission, and also Wilmot and Sahuarita Road clearing. Clear skies, 46 are low, 72 and sunny tomorrow, and 69 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Ritz, a taste of welcome.
Whether it's an ugly sweater party, office gift exchange, or holiday dinner at Nana's, Ritz Crackers is always there, bringing friends and family together to celebrate. So grab a box or two of Ritz Crackers for your next holiday gathering and make this season one to remember with Ritz, a taste of welcome.
The very best in play-by-play is on Tucson's best sports station, Wildcats Radio 1290. This is the home of the Wildcats and NFL play-by-play. This is the one and only Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, did you guys know? Did you guys know the average person eats 9 spiders whenever I cook for them?
From his multiple Netflix comedy specials, Anthony Jeselnik brings his new stand-up tour, Bones and All, to Diamond Center Desert Diamond Casino, Sahuarita. Don't miss Anthony Jeselnik live on Saturday, February 3rd at 8 p.m. Purchase tickets at the Reward Center or at etix.com or anthonyjeselnik.com.
This time of year, big box tool stores start to sell a whole bunch of not tools, from dancing Santas to plastic trees. At Northern Tool and Equipment, we'd rather sell you a 4-horsepower chainsaw fitted with a full chisel chain to cut down your own tree. And we have wood chippers come January, because mulch. We're cutting prices on your favorite brands this holiday season. Save on Milwaukee, Ingersoll Rand, and Metaltech in-store or at northerntool.com.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard. Limitations apply.
Hey guys, I have a riddle. I hate it already. I'm wearing a polar bear disguise to provide service with no compromise. You're an Alaskification. Wait, I'm not done. It's a vital annual task, even though I'm behind a mask. Alaskification. You're an Alaskification. Don't spoil it for Ron. Alaskification. When I'm done, you won't shed a tear, because your heater will be guaranteed for a whole long year. Who am I? Alaskification. How'd you guess?
Gary, everyone knows the Alaskification from Alaskan AC is the finest furnace tune-up in town.
Everybody also knows Alaskan AC guarantees no breakdowns for a year.
And everybody also knows it helps you save money on your utilities.
Wow, how quickly did you figure it out? As soon as you said, I like to dress up in costumes. I never said that. I know what I heard. Ron?
That kind of gave it away.
Bah, what do you guys know? I'm gonna go take care of our customers with our world-famous Alaskifications.
Schedule now at alaskanac.com.
Don't forget your fluffy tail. Oh, thanks.
Black Friday is now a game day. The Dolphins take on the Jets in the first ever Black Friday NFL game. Stream for free only on Prime. Black Friday football. Dolphins versus Jets. Coverage begins this Friday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Only on Prime. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/watch Black Friday football for details.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & Kay. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Explore natural open space, a network of connecting trails, and a community park within the Vale School District. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rock & Kay with home savings up to $35,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. Live RockandK.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Listen to the home of the Wildcats wherever you are on your iPhone and iPad by downloading our new app in the App Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Why does 1290 run this town?
It's simple. 1290 is the only radio station that can bring you Thursday, Sunday, Monday Night Football, the NFL playoffs, and the Super Bowl. Scoreboard 1290.
This is the home of the Wildcats.
This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the sports tip on Wildcats Radio 1290. It's the 5 o'clock hour, and it's time for our Arizona Insiders.
Am I late?
No, my boy, you're just in time.
Each weekday, Wildcats Radio 1290 brings you all the latest news and opinions on U of A football and the Pac-12. So bear down, Tucson, and let's talk Arizona football. Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light, official corporate sponsors of Arizona Athletics. There's nothing like game day in Arizona.
Breaking down Arizona Wildcats football, U of A with a 42-18 win over the Utah Utes, now getting set for the Territorial Cup game up in Tempe on Saturday. Let's talk about the Wildcats' big win. Pleased to be joined, as always, by Glenn Howe, U of A football class of 1985. And Glenn, before we get into what is happening at ASU this Saturday, let's revisit this win over Utah. And I think that the thing that continues to stand out for me about this offense, we'll start on the offensive side of the ball as we usually do, is just the continued progression of these wide receivers in the blocking game. And I mentioned it last week when I talked about, Montana Lamonius Craig having some big blocks on that last drive that set up the game-winning field goal. And it's pretty much everybody in this lineup when you think about it. I mean, MLC had another block on a big Jonah Coleman run in the first half. And then you've got Tanner McLaughlin and what he's been doing, that reverse they ran with Jacob Cowing. He had a big block on that particular play. And then on the MLC touchdown, it was Jacob Cowing that had the block out in front that helps spring that. These wide receivers are just doing. I mean, I remember that Rich Rod had some pretty good blocking wide receivers in his time. When you go back and talk about some of those guys like Nate Phillips and Samaje Grant and Trey Griffey, but this is as good a group, I think, as I've seen in terms of blocking in the 15 years I've been covering this program.
Well, I think you got to give kudos to Kevin Cummings there, the wide receivers coach. He's just been emphasizing making sure that these guys understand to be a complete wide receiver, you have to be able to block, especially in the scheme that we run on offense where we're getting the ball outside to our receivers so they can it's like a run play for us. So they are now offensive linemen, our guys, our wide receivers, and they have to be able to block. And I think they're doing a great job, the technique. And you notice we haven't had a lot of holding calls.
Yeah.
Which is hold on, that's my big boy here. Get him out of here. That's Prince.
Prince always. This is like it's been 10 years, and Prince is always trying to get on the show.
I'll tell you, Prince, dude, he's 13. He's 14 years old, man. German Shepherd. He is an OG, man. This guy is he's old, man. So, but anyway, we haven't had any holding calls, which is fantastic, which is telling you I think this is a combination of this, okay? It's a combination of Coach Cummings showing them the proper technique and Tyler Owens and his staff working on footwork. The strength and conditioning staff working on footwork, making them being athletic, making sure that their feet are not touching together. All those things that the strength staff does with speed and agility, all those things are put together along with Coach Cummings, and they're just making these receivers into great receivers.
Yeah. And then, and Noah Fafita, obviously, has just had a tremendous run with this program, having won now 5 straight games in a row. And I think one of the things that I'm really noticing from him is obviously his ability to climb the pocket. He's extremely effective on third down. I want to talk about one play in particular. There was a play in the third quarter, which I thought was it kind of showed just his knowledge of where he wants to go with the football. He kind of had Tetra McMillan on a slot, and after the snap, they brought T-Mac across. They essentially let the defensive end go, and it looks like he's climbing down on Noah for a sack, on a blitz sack. But he knew exactly what was happening. He turned and got rid of the ball to Tetro McMillan. But it's also the scheming of these plays, because it's okay. They knew exactly, you let that defensive end go, and it cleared out that side for a wide open T-Mac coming across for an easy dump down pass. It was a first down play, and it gets you it was only a 6-yard play, but it puts you in second and short and allows this offense to operate at a maximum efficiency when you're dealing with shorter yardages on your second and third down opportunities.
Well, I tell you, Dave, my theme today is going to be not giving kudos to just the players. It's also to the coaches, because we have seen these kids evolve over the last 6 to 7 games. And Coach Duarte, we haven't mentioned his name in a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and he's apparently the third down guy. He's the one designing all those third down plays.
Exactly. So now we have to give Jimmy some props here. He has developed the quarterback position into a productive position. And, even with Jaden when he was there, he was productive. Jaden, maybe he threw a couple interceptions, but he was still productive. And then Noah has really progressed in the last 4 to 5 games as just becoming a really efficient quarterback. And that, you can't see those receivers without understanding the scheme of the blocking scheme, because the quarterback coach got to go over, this is what our tackle's doing. This is where they're taught to push them out to this way. You got to step up into the pocket. You got to do this. If we're rolling out, where your rushes are coming from. Those kids are looking there. You were seeing them. They say, "Oh, I know he's coming, so this is where I'm going to get out of the way." These kids are being coached well, and they're doing a great job.
Glenn Howe joining us, Wildcat Breakdown. He's our Arizona Insider on this Tuesday, brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light is an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Coors Light, there's nothing like game day at Arizona. Had a chance that we obviously talked last week with Jordan Morgan. Had a chance to see Jordan on campus today when I was leaving the press conference. Just a great way for this young man to end his career and all that he's gone through, being on a team, obviously, that went 1-11, and then he was one of the guys that played in that game when they got housed here at 70-7. And the way he's developed, Glenn, and obviously that if you're thanking coaches and highlighting coaches, obviously Brennan Carroll's been one of the big guys on the offensive line side of it. But I can remember 2-3 years ago when my biggest concern with him was like he just kept getting beat on the edge for sacks and those types of things. And I was thinking after I walked by him today, I was thinking to myself, I can't remember a time this year when he's gotten beaten for a sack, because most of the sacks that they've taken this year have come up the middle. There haven't necessarily been a lot of sacks that have come off the edge. I mean, that's how much he has grown in that role as an edge protector for this offense.
And that goes back, like I said again, my theme this week is to talk about the coaches, the coaching of the strength and conditioning coaches, of making sure that they can bend. Those guys got to bend when you're a left tackle. You have to be able to bend at the waist, at the hips. Your hips got to be able to be flexible. You got to be able to bend. These guys are benders. These are big, tall guys that are benders, and they're not going to get beat if you're bending. If you're standing up and your hips are up, you are unbalanced. You're not going to be able to get that hard outside edge rush. And these guys, the strength and conditioning coaches, have done a great job of working on their footwork, making sure that they're quick. And then Brendan Carroll just polishing these guys off with all the technique as the offensive lineman. So these kids have really been technicians. And when you have a technical team, a team that is a lot of technicians, your success rates on your plays are higher than the kids that don't have very good technique, because you'll have breakdowns other places on the 11 guys, and these guys are all putting it together with their great technique.
Glenn Howe joining us. He's our Arizona Insider, brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light is an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Coors Light, there's nothing like game day at Arizona. Wildcat Breakdown. Glenn, let's flip it over to the defensive side of the ball. And I think the continuing theme for me this year on defense has just been, this team's ability to cover. I mean, it's like somebody drops whoever, insert quarterback name here, whether it's been Caleb Williams, whether it's been Michael Penix Jr., whether it's been Bryson Barnes or whoever, drops back to pass, and there's nobody open.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, these kids, like, it goes back to technique. It goes back to the same thing. The kids, and then they're just getting more confident. When you're a confident corner that you don't believe anybody can beat you, that is a gold mine. That is just unbelievable. And that's the way I think our corners think. You know, our corners think that no one can beat them because look at the wide receivers they faced in the last 5 games. Just think of those are the best receivers, some of the best receivers in the country, and they've shut them down. There's no one that has just torched us up. No one has done that on those 5 teams, on Washington, on USC, on UCLA, on Utah. All those teams have not done. There was nobody. None of those guys have torched us up, and we have done a great job. I'm talking about with the safeties. You know, Gunnar Maldonado, he's improved immensely. You should see him. Before a couple of years ago, Gunnar was getting a little. You know, he was not making some tackles. He was, you know, he was doing a little bit, getting burned a little deep a little bit sometimes. But you can't. That guy's not doing that no more.
Yeah,
he has corrected his ways. And he is an efficient safety. He is a guy that you can count on.
And how about Jacob Manu adding another tool to his belt, being able to drop back in coverage and read the pass scheme? I mean, I was like, man, if this kid starts doing that, I mean, he's gonna be a consensus All-American.
Yeah, Jacob Manu is like 50 years old. I think. I think He plays like he's a veteran, man. He's 50. The dude he is just like an old man out there playing in a young man's body because he's so smart. Just, the things that he's doing is just, I watch him when he's going to pass rush and then he's going with his inside arm and he's hitting the lineman instead of going straight at him with the full lineman. He's taking half of them. You know, I mean, those are the smart things. Those are what the smart guys do. And then they get through, and, you know, because it's hard for a lineman. You see this little linebacker come in, you want to take him full arm, and they're not doing it. They're not giving you the whole body. So he's playing smart. He's doing the things that he's being taught, and it's just fantastic to watch.
All right, we'll get a break in here. We'll come back. We'll talk about the special teams performance in this game over the Utah Utes. This win, 42-18. We'll hand out some game balls. Glenn Howe joining us, Wildcat Breakdown, our Arizona insider, but getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather. Here's Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions McGee and Shannon and McGee, Sahuarita Road east of Wilmont, Sahuarita Road and Kolb Road. Oracle North, the 1st Avenue, Oracle and Law Reserve Drive. That was an overturned vehicle, I believe, off in the median. Crash on Nogales Highway between Abrego Drive and Continental. Also collision on Ruthroff east of I-10, causing westbound backups on Ruthroff as you approach I-10. Clear skies, 46 overnight, sunny, 72 tomorrow, and 69 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Get big savings and big rewards during Provember. Earn bonus points on brands like DeWalt to redeem for NFL tickets to regular season games and more. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 11/22, subject to change.
My brother-in-law died suddenly. And now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Hi, it's Floyd, the family man with the family plan. Outdated HVAC systems will drive up your electric bill, drain your wallet, and peace of mind. Save now at Goodfellas with no payments or interest till 2024. Get a 30% federal tax credit, up to $2,000 off qualifying heat pumps. Trust Goodfellas. We're locally owned with thousands of 5-star reviews. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. Visit us at goodfellasac.com to schedule a no-cost estimate.
This time of year, big box tool stores start to sell a whole bunch of not tools. From dancing Santas to plastic trees. At Northern Tool and Equipment, we'd rather sell you a 4-horsepower chainsaw fitted with a full chisel chain to cut down your own tree. And we have wood chippers come January. 'Cause you know, mulch. We're cutting prices on your favorite brands this holiday season. Save on Milwaukee, Ingersoll Rand, and Metaltech in-store or at northerntool.com.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard. Limitations apply.
1290 brings you the passion of football like no one else.
11 minutes to play in the quarter. First and goal. Pitch to Mitchell to the right. He's running around end, and he's going to stroll in for the San Francisco touchdown. The 49ers dropping the gauntlet. They march
This
right
season,
down
1290
Dallas.
will bring you almost 100 NFL and college football games. It's not flexing, it's just the truth. Scoreboard 1290, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Well, it's that time of year. You dress the kids up for the holiday parties, and they hate it. You dress everybody up for the annual holiday card picture, and, well, everybody hates that. You even dress the turkey, and we're pretty sure he's not happy about that. This year, dress up your yard in time for the holidays. Call Dorado Rockin' Materials, and we promise there will be no complaints. Make your yard beautiful and worry-free with their personal service and convenient delivery times. Dorado Rockin' Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Hey listener, welcome to Limu's Karaoke Lounge, where Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, and the music never stops. Hit it!
There's an emu with a full-time job. His partner's Doug, but Limu's the heartthrob. Grubs and worms, that's what Limu eats. Gotta fuel up to save you money and hit the streets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Breaking down Arizona Wildcats football, U of A wins over Utah 42-18, joined by my man Glenn Howe, U of A football class of 1985. Glenn, let's take a look at the special teams performance in this game, and the Wildcats got a blocked punt. It's interesting that actually went into the scorebook, I guess, as a 2-yard punt return for a touchdown. Which is very interesting. I'm not sure how they come up with that, but a great play by Anthony Ward in that game. So you got to, again, and that's one of the things we always talk about, big wins in games where you want to get an upset or win big. You usually need a big special teams play. The Wildcats were able to get that from Anthony Ward, and just another name, a name that we hadn't really heard much about, but a young man that they got an opportunity and was able to make a play for this team.
Yeah, Anthony Ward had, his time, and he probably, I tell you, he probably was like, oh my gosh, I'm this close to the kicker, and he just made the play. And the way he blocked it, he did it perfect, the perfect technique. Take it off of his foot. That's exactly what he did. He took it off of his foot and and circled around with his shoulders around the ball, at taking it off his foot, and he got a great bounce and walked in. I think that's just another thing. He didn't go up high or try to get up on the punter's chest or anything. He took it right off of his foot. And another thing of great technique.
Yeah. In terms of the punting game, Kyle Ostendorp had just 2 punts in the game and put them both inside the 20, so that's a positive day. Plus, one had one punt over 50 yards. Noah Fafita had his 1 punt, ended up being a touchback as the Wildcats couldn't get down and down it. The unfortunate part of special teams was the 2 missed field goals, the blocked field goal by Tyler Loop, and then the miss that hit the goal post. So his overall average percentage, field goal average, comes down, and he drops out of first place all time. So he'll need a few kicks to to make that up and get back into that conversation. But in terms of our game balls for this week, I'm going to go with Anthony Ward. We'll start with special teams since that's what we're talking about right now, and I'm going to give my game ball to Anthony Ward.
Yeah, Anthony Ward, that's a great thing. That's what I was going to go with. The kid just, he was a former walk-on. He had his time to shine, and he shined. And I just like the technique that he did on blocking that punt. So that was my guy on the special teams as well.
Who are you giving your defensive game ball to?
My defensive game ball, I got to give it to Jacob Manu. The kid's just been doing everything. That score, if they would have scored there.
Yeah, that was a game-changing play.
That could have been the game changer right there. That could have been that could have gave a life support for Utah. They would have probably said, "Well, we're still in this game," And that pick was phenomenal. So I think I'm going to give my game ball to Jacob Manu.
All right, I'm going with Dalton Johnson, who just continues to be all over the field. 2 tackles for loss, had another sack, led the team with 11 tackles. He, to me, and I said last week, right now he's my leader in the clubhouse for Defensive Player of the Year. I just think he continues to play at a high, consistent level for this defense. Offensively, I'm going to give out 2. I'm going to go with T-Mac. Obviously, threw a touchdown pass. Caught a touchdown pass in this ball game, and then you got to go with the senior Michael Wiley for scoring two touchdowns in his home finale. Those are my 2 game balls on offense.
My game ball on offense is going to go to T-Mac. The dual threat. He throws the ball, he catches the ball. He just made some crucial third down catches, man. Those are catches, as you can see, sometimes even the pros have problems catching the ball. You see that last night, all those drops they had.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Those guys were wide open.
Yeah.
Guys were wide open, and T-Mac's catching it when someone's trying to take his head off.
Yeah.
So he's a money catcher. So I just think that he hopes he continues to progress. Don't be satisfied. That's what I always tell great players. Don't be satisfied. Always chase the next goal. You cannot be satisfied of being good or great. Being great every day. That's what you have to be able to do and continue to work. And I think T-Mac, he gets my game ball.
All right, Glenn, opening thoughts for Territorial Cup week.
Oh man, I'm just like, I've been thinking about it all week. This game, I tell you what, if Oregon State beats Oregon, which is a possibility, okay? Which is a possibility. If they beat Oregon, that game on Saturday, no matter what, even if they don't, it's going to be a tough game. It's a rivalry game. They would love to be able to knock us out and make sure say that that they beat a 8-3 team, the U of A. But you know what? It's going to be if we just continue to be what we've been doing is just dominating on the line of scrimmage. I think we can handle the ASU Scummies up north.
All right. Speaking of up north, we will be up north on Saturday for both our pregame show and our postgame show. We're going to get Macayo's Mexican food. It is on 650 North Scottsdale Road, right across Tempe Town Lake from the stadium. So join us. We'll be there from 9 to noon for the pregame show. We'll come back and we'll do the postgame show from there after the game. And hopefully the margaritas will be flowing after the ball game after a big win in Tempe.
And Dave, you know who's going to be in the huddle?
Ooh.
It's going to be the Sun Devil killer.
Oh, Max Zendejas.
Max Zendejas.
Max Zendejas
on the show.
Oh, man.
I just talked to him today. And Max said, dude, I live right down the street from there. He goes, so he might be showing up on set.
That would be awesome.
That'd be great to get Max, man. So Max is going to be on the show, so he'll be in the huddle. So, and then we're going to have a bunch of other guys. We should have a bunch of other guys call in. I have some other guys lined up to call into the show, and it'd be great. We're going to have a great time.
Outstanding, Glenn. As always, we appreciate you. We'll see you in Tempe on Saturday.
All right, bear down. Beat the Scummies.
Thanks to Coors Light for bringing you today's Arizona Insiders on Wildcats Radio 1290. Coors Light, official corporate sponsors of Arizona Athletics. There's nothing like game day in Arizona. And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
And what do you remember about 83 and going up there and, what you guys did defensively to put Max in a position to be able to win the game, and the offense in a position to be able to win that game?
Yeah, when 83 was Ricky senior year and a bunch of other seniors that was Randy Robinson, guys like that was part of the defense per se. And it was important that the defense basically, in the third or fourth quarter, we had to figure out some kind of way of stopping their charge. And I think I can recall Ricky coming in the huddle and gathering all us together and say, you know what, we can't go out this way. We can't allow this to happen. And we as a defense, decided that this is not going to take place. We stopped their charge, and, we got Max on the field, and Max did his thing. And that's why Max got paid all the big money when he was in school here, because he was Mr. Automatic. I mean, Max was Mr. Automatic. And, and here again, you're dealing with a kid whose brother on the other side of that field.
Yeah.
That made it even more important for him, too, and the way he felt about their rivalry. And, and like I say, it was just you being a part of that, and you're on that, especially on that field up there, and being able to take something away from that team and those people that's up there. And me personally, when I graduate from university, and I think I went to a game one time up there, as far as in that stadium, to watch us play, and I think I had my young kids. I had my kids with me. I made the decision to never walk back in that damn stadium. I would never walk back in that stadium and give them one penny, because of the way those people are up there. I mean, and they believe in the rivalry just like we do, but I think they take it a little further than what we take it. And I don't want to subject myself to it, or particularly no family members, because, the wrong me might come out.
Oh, wow. We don't want the wrong Lamont coming out now up there.
Right. But that's what the rivalry's all about, man. It is about the fans to, get themselves involved in the game and put their bite and their little flavor into it. But, as long as we can keep that trophy down here at Tucson, that's more important than anything.
All right, Lamont Hundley goes in front of the team with one message. What is that message?
Mm-hmm. My message would be for them is to, get your memories. It's that simple. Get your memories, because, I have mine. My memories is I was part of the street, as far as making that thing happen. I have my memories, of making a impact tackle on that field, to stopping a running back from going in the end zone or deflecting a pass that could have caused a difference. I have my memories of watching Max and Dayhouse kick that ball up the center and win the game for us. I have my memories of Brian Holland catching the ball running down the field. Those memories will stay with you for the rest of your life. So I tell you to go out there and just gather your memories, do something positive on that field, and make sure you got those memories implanted inside of you, where at the end of the game, the scoreboard is in your favor, because if it's not, it's gonna be in your belly for a long time. So make sure the memories are in your positive way and create your own, because, we old folks, we got ours.
Get your memories. I like that, Lamont. Appreciate you, brother. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right. We'll be here for you. All right, bear down.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
That was our conversation with Lamont Hunley on Monday here, and we bring you a Desert Diamond Casino replay every single day. We have an afternoon show replaying you some of our great conversations from throughout the course of the last week. All right, breaking news regarding your Arizona Wildcats football team. U of A is now number 15 in the college football playoff rankings. Those rankings just coming out here in the last hour. The Wildcats moving up from 17 to 15 in the college football playoff rankings. Your top four as it stands right now: Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and Washington. So Washington right now in the college football playoff semifinals. Florida State is 5, Oregon 6, Texas, Alabama, Missouri, Louisville round out the top 10. Penn State 11, Ole Miss 12, Oklahoma 13, LSU 14, Arizona 15, Oregon State 16, Iowa 17, then Notre Dame, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Tennessee, NC State, Tulane, Clemson, and Liberty. I've got Liberty in my family. Liberty at 11-0 is number 25. That's going to wrap up our show for today. We've got one more normal show for this week coming up tomorrow. Final day for you to tell us your memories of this Territorial Cup series, this Territorial Cup game. We'll want to hear from you tomorrow. Thanks to J-Dub. Thanks to Cricket. Most of all, thanks to you for listening. My name is David Kelly. It's DK on the Sports Tip. We will talk to you on Wednesday. Have a great night, everybody.
O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions McGee and Shannon, Sahuarita Road east of Wilmot, Sahuarita and Kolb, Oracle north of 1st Avenue at La Reserve Drive, Ajo and Mission. Some crash on Nogales Highway between Abrego Drive and Continental. Wreck on Ruth Ruff east of I-10 with westbound slowing. Clear skies, 46, our low, 72 and sunny tomorrow, and 68 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.